Greetings and welcome to Unveiling Reality. How's everybody doing out there today? Hope you're all living well, doing well. So happy you're here this evening for a special edition of Unveiling Reality. Just my hot takes. Just my hot takes tonight. I was trying to think of what to do tonight, and I was like, man, there's only one thing on my mind as I'm viewing today's news, and that's wanting to talk back to it. So I figured I'd just do it here tonight and unveil a few different things as we go along. Sliding in sideways a little bit today, but here we go. Thank you to all the YouTube members scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Reoccurring memberships mean a lot. They help support the channel, and you get a free super chat every month, actually prepaid, that you are welcome to use. I will definitely read it. Thank you guys so much for being here, and let's go. All right. Where are we at right here? Okay. Cool. So yeah, how's everybody doing out there? Let's take a minute to say hello. Wolfram, thank you for dropping the links, buddy. He wipes his paws, Lopeson and House, and he is here. There's Shelly saying hello to everybody. And there's T-Rex Trucking. Thank you for popping in to say hello. I saw you driving there. Left you a like. Hope you're enjoying your new gig. There's Shelly. I mean, there's Daisy talking to Shelly. Daisy, what's up? How you doing? She's saying hello to everybody. Awesome. So happy to have you here. Check this out. Let's get right to it. I love how you guys pop these in right at the beginning. Let's do it. Shelly, thank you for the $10 super chat. I'm off kilter, but the stream should start right. Hit it. Thank you so much. And T-Rex, look at this. Free super chats like this one. Member for 10 months. Thank you so much, T-Rex, for being a member for 10 months, supporting the channel. You are indeed a great friend. Thank you so much, and best of luck with yours as well, as you keep rolling down the road, keeping America functioning. True American hero. Zach, what's up? How you doing? Says hello, says hello, says hello. He's in the house. All right, we are off and running. So, it seems like every day, at least recently, the news has been the same, right? Everybody's focused on, and I've covered it numerous times, I guess, now at this point. The debate debacle, the ongoing persistence on pointing out Joe Biden's frailties, because some people think that that's an effective strategy. My hot take on that is it's a terrible strategy. It's strategic immaturity, in a sense of not understanding your opponent or what they're after or how they operate. So I hope with the examples that I'm providing tonight that I can make that point a little bit more clear. But we will dive into some of the bigger voices out there that do monopolize the thought leadership, if you will, sector of new media and what would be considered anti-establishment media. And, how they're, we're going to go into maybe they're, maybe they've been manipulated, right? And to think that our side can't be manipulated is kind of the point I want to make tonight, is that, it's like I explained at the beginning. The human brain OS has exploits in it, right? There's ways to exploit the human mind, the human brain OS, how it operates. And for those who understand it, who have a deep understanding, say they've been studying it for decades and decades, and they've been in power for decades and decades, so they have a really good understanding. Say they built an entire propaganda system, right? The idea that they don't understand us, that people think that once you escape the establishment narrative that you're just free and clear, that that they have no idea what we're doing and they have no control over us in any way, shape, or form. I'd like you to reconsider that if you fall into that category. And I'll make some points tonight to help you reconsider that, revet that idea, as I would say. It's always important to revet your ideas. I revet mine all the time. I'm ready to course correct at the drop of new information when it's valid and it's logical, right? And that's the idea that we need to take, man. We need to understand that being outside the establishment narrative doesn't make us perfect, right? It doesn't make us safe, doesn't give us some kind of bulletproof ability. It's done automatic, right? It's something you have to work at and you have to become more sophisticated at doing. And for some people, it's not exciting. They just tell me what to think and I'll do it. For other people, it's very intriguing, right? To understand the depths of the human psychology and how a massive establishment of corruption and criminality is able to dominate us century after century after century. It seems like we would like to break that cycle, right? We'd like to kind of find a way to make that stop. And the only way we're going to do that is through real, true root cause analysis and through being humble, through having a cause, and that cause being the truth, the absolute truth, the logical truth, and nothing but the truth. All of us want it, but how many of us defend it and really take on that responsibility, that accountability role on our other side, right? And as I bring up points here, I'll be stopping quite often to make comments. I got three, and we're going to go for probably about 2 hours tonight, and we're going to redirect to Joe Good Logic, because I realize that Good Logic and I share a lot of audience, and I'd like to encourage some of his audience to be here for we call this the pre-show or whatever on Wednesdays. And I'll always try to redirect to Joe on Wednesdays when we do Unveiling Realities, because he comes on at 10 o'clock, and that's a nice little hop. So if my audience does, I mean, literally, probably, out of like a lot of the creators we know of, Joe and I share a lot of audience, and I'd like to have those awesome people who have come here quite often to know, hey, I can pop in at Winning Reality at 8 p.m. on Wednesdays and get a 2-hour warm up with the same crowd, and then go over to Joe's for another round of great Good Logic. Great stuff with Good Logic, that is. Hey, 357, what's up? Hey, what's up? How you doing? Good to see you. Happy that you're here. And we'll just keep going. We'll just keep going, man. We'll just keep going. I realize this is the small crowd scene. That's cool, because my crowd rocks. The people that come here every show are awesome. And when more people know about it, more people will want to be around it. And I offer you unique perspectives, right? Unique perspectives. In fact, if you do find other people out there with my perspective, please connect us. The crowd has been able to do amazing things in connecting my channel with other channels. Radix Verum being a great example, where Daisy and somebody else, Daisy and somebody else were very adamant about it, connecting us, and we've become friends after that. And she's been on a couple times on the show. And so, just like that, and connections can be made. And so, yeah, I can't be everywhere at once, even though I'm just an idea. But if you do happen to ever I don't find many people that have, the takes I have on things, right? Which is exciting and a little bit lonely sometimes. MLS, how you doing? Does anyone see the irony of Zach being in the chat? Why? What's the irony? Tell us the irony, MLS. Tell us the irony. Thank you for being here, by the way. I love it when other creators come by and hang out and be part of the show. I do appreciate it. Do tell us the irony. I know you do shows sometimes too, MLS. I know you do the Lego stream with Valhalla. Those are a lot of fun. But if you ever have anything come up and you want a different voice or a new face, if you will, this face right here, I'd love to come hang out with you sometime. Get out there. YouTube is draining my subs like you wouldn't believe, ruthlessly, that is. And like I was saying, when you're outside of the establishment narrative, the only thing they can do, they can't bring you back. The only thing they can do is discredit you and try to silence you and keep you siloed off into obscurity. And so at the smaller creator level, that's what they try to do. That's what they do. They take away your subs. They don't suggest your videos. They do things like that. At the larger level, they impose more censorship. You get more actions against you. I'm definitely not set up to have actions against me. So, oh, and plus, when you don't get the reach that is influential in their opinion, then they kind of just leave you alone into obscurity. That's the way I see it. That's the way I've kind of worked it out. But I see Zach is not winning at life. That's the irony. Oh my goodness, he's not. I don't know anything about that. It sounds personal. I'm gonna leave it there. But anyway, or it's no inside joke that I'm not aware of. One or the other. Hey, Outpost, how you doing? How you doing? I do appreciate Zach coming by the channel and being part of it, though. He's always been great here in the crowd. So anyways, I got a few different things I'm going to run through. Like I said, we're going to be playing out the main voices in the new media. Going to be kind of analyzing their takes. Oh, it's an inside joke. Okay, good. I like to see everybody getting along. Good. Awesome. Let me go ahead and start queuing up our first video of the evening. Now, even if you saw some of these on your own, I think you're gonna like to listen tonight to my takes on these things. Let me see. It'll still be like watching it for the first time. It'll be transformative. Yes, it will. Okay, there it is. Share that. Let me get my fumbling. Okay. Okay, I kind of want to start. I kind of wanted to start with this one, but I think all right, we're gonna go in the order I have it. All right, so first up, Tim Pool. Leaked documents prove Joe Biden's collapsing. Democrats own polling shows Biden is cooked. Right. So I'm gonna do this and then I'm gonna show you like a counter from the quartering to this somewhat. And I think that the interesting thing is I don't know the timing on these two videos, but the quartering was actually in Tim's chat. So I don't know if he got the idea from watching him this morning or whether he was already planned on doing his own take on things. But it's going to be interesting because he believes he's uncovered a massive psyop that'll be coming up next. And I have some things to say about that. And so let's get started with the first video. All right. And I'm doing analysis, so I'm going to put it right there. All right. Let's start out and we'll just let the hot takes happen.
Let's jump to this story. This is big news. We have this tweet. Per Puck News, leaked Democrat internal polling from Open Labs. Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that's cool. I guess I don't know who this guy is that he's getting it from. But I guess we'll go with it that it's legit.
It is substantially worse than anybody realizes. According to this leaked polling data, internal from Democrats, Joe Biden is down in double digits in several key states. You even look at New Hampshire, he's down.
Keep this in mind. Keep his analysis in mind, and keep he's got the panel there. Oh God, Ian's there. I don't think he talks during this one, so that's good. Oh man, but keep in mind his take on this, right? Because the next video is really going to come back with a different take on all this, and it's just interesting when I talk about our sophistication in terms of understanding our enemy and what our experience is with them. That's the establishment, of course, in this framing of things. Oh, hello, Suzanne. How you doing? There's Suzanne saying hello to everybody. Just keep in mind that he's going on this take, right?
On 3 points. Wisconsin, 4 points. I made this argument earlier that I think if you take the 270 to win map, toss-up states are now lean Republican and lean Democrats are now toss-ups. After that debate, it was so bad. And you can actually see this. Look at this. The margin drop post-debate because of Biden's performance. It is 2 points across the board in basically every state. He's lost 2 solid points in key states.
I tend to take the position that take polls with a grain of salt, right? You don't know what kind of manipulation goes on with them. You can't guarantee their authentic. They're done fairly or they're done in a honest way. I mean, you can't. You really can't. You can maybe look at them after the fact and give them some credit, but while you're looking at them during a very heated race, especially with the most important position in the government up for grabs, that there's not some kind of manipulation going on. And when the manipulation comes in, it's coming from the establishment. So just be careful, because a lot of times they would like to lull people into a sense of security that is a false sense of security. That is, everything's fine. You don't have to worry about showing up on election day. And they'll talk about this a little bit in the video.
And there's no denying it at this point. I know you still get people like Jennifer Rubin is on Twitter all day being like, "Oh, the polls are exactly the same as they were months ago," and stuff. Like, okay, well, just look at them, lady. But this is clearly a strategic leak. The Democrats are usually a lot better about keeping things hush-hush internally. And, all of a sudden we got leaked internal polling because they're in scorched earth mode at this point. Look at,
they're in scorched earth mode at this point. That's an interesting take. I don't know about that, but we'll see. I mean, that's again, like that's a flat take is what I call it. It's kind of like, okay, that's what I expect, so that's what I see. Instead of, is there strategy behind this, right? Is there a strategy to lull the other side in a way, right? It's more likely, from my experience, that they lull than they scorch earth.
Pennsylvania, Arizona, Nevada, Georgia, places Trump supposedly lost last election. He's deeply underwater in those territories.
I mean, look,
there's no way for him to win with this.
You take North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, and I turned them red. Trump wins.
Election's over.
Election's over. But he's also underwater in Wisconsin.
Yep. And Michigan.
And Michigan. I mean, that's it.
Yep.
312 Republican.
It was
that
so
is
transparent.
This is the internal Democrat data right now. Take a look at this. Bobby Barack says, "I've seen different maps, but for my calculation, this is the map projection based on Open Labs' new internal polling data, meaning if Open Labs polling holds, it will be 205 Democrats, 333 Republicans. But I'll tell you what's going to happen. They're going to have an open convention at the DNC, and they're going to..."
Okay, he's telling us this, right? He's telling us this. This is what's going to happen. There's, it's like, that would be unheard of, wouldn't it? It would be as unique as what went on last election, that they would hold an open convention and then switch the candidate out. And like I was talking about last show, I was saying, I think that we underestimate the complications involved in replacing a candidate that won the nomination. Like, he won the nomination. Nobody ran against him, really, right? But he won the nomination fair and square, and now they just need to appoint him the nominee at the convention. And now our side has decided that Tim's going to tell us how it is, and like I said, I consider Tim Pool an ally on our side. I just think that he's kind of got that rock star syndrome bubble going on sometimes, and so I just call it out. I don't dislike the guy. I'm not after him, by the way. I'm just trying to say, and here's the thing. I can't, at my level right now in this channel, I don't get to have a voice. I don't get to have a conversation. I don't get to have the reach to be on a panel like this, even though other people are on the panel that don't really have a clue of what's going on, right? But I don't have the notoriety. I don't have the success. I don't have the ability to get into this conversation. So the best I can do is make a video about it, do a stream about it, and reply, because Tim Pool would have one hell of a conversation with me, but who am I? I'm just a face in a very large crowd. It's got like 10,000 some people watching it during this video or more. Who am I, right? Like, why would he want to talk to me? That's the whole thing. I have work to do, and luck and destiny or whatever has to be, not the creator, but just real destiny has to be involved if I'm ever going to make it to this place. And I tell you what I would do is, if I ever did have the opportunity to have a conversation with him in a public arena, like he invited me on his show for some miracle of a reason, right? I would turn the camera on for it. So there you go. You want to see me turn the camera on, just to kind of like insert myself out there, because what I would say, I think in a lot of ways would I can respond to a lot of his points and with takes he hasn't heard before. What a you are a shrouded face with glowing eyes. Yes, Yes, I am. Yes, I am. So yeah, when I turn the camera on, it looks exactly the same. So it wouldn't be a big deal, right?
Going to nominate somebody else. Kamala Harris gets tossed out, and everyone's wondering what's the political move. There doesn't need to be one. She has no choice. She'll come out and say, I am happy that the people of the convention have spoken. It's democracy. We love democracy. Thank you, everybody. And that's it.
Yep.
Yeah. You really? Really? You think that's it? That's that simple, huh? It makes me wonder, like, what he's been paying attention to. T-Rex says JFK Jr. and the Green Party candidate will be stealing votes from Biden. Yeah, probably. They normally do. Instead of the people who are frustrated with the establishment going and going anti-establishment, they go basically into the, a ghetto vote or a siloed vote into these third-party independent candidates where, basically they're just not participating. I know they think they are, but they're really not. I mean, I guess if it's stealing votes from Biden, yeah, but why not add votes to Trump? Well, they couldn't possibly do that because the mind control is real. All right. So Tim's take right now is that they're going to have an open convention and Kamala Harris is going to run against them. Who actually polls worse than Biden.
I get.
I mean, at least she was. Let's see how they change it now.
She
right?
feels humiliated frequently in this position this season too. Like she wasn't really qualified. She got picked. She wasn't even. Was she running for president?
Yeah, she was running for president.
She was like on the poll. She had like 2%.
He didn't know if she was running for president. He's so high.
Got a facelift and came back as his VP.
And after she said that she thought that Biden was a racist and had done things to women and such too.
Flip. They always do that, right? They eat their own.
Like a 180.
Yeah, right, it's like, how do you go from? But all right, well, I mean, but we know exactly what happened there, and she's only polling.
Ian's done good to like trim down his mustache some. It's much better now.
1 point higher than Joe Biden in the theoretical polling data that's coming out. Trump versus Kamala matchup. It's not good.
She's always been unpopular.
Yeah, again, we're going by their polls, aren't we?
I mean, that's one of the issues. She was
from the moment she stepped foot in office.
Right, and Biden made her the board.
Yeah, everybody knows she's unpopular. She didn't even get 1% of anything, I think, when she was running for president or running for the nomination.
Supporters are. Well, look how well that's going for everybody. Like then she was on a national abortion tour. Like she is too hostile of a character. I don't think that she could actually launch a campaign at this point. I think she could go back to California and potentially win governorship if Newsom leaves.
That might be the play right there.
It is.
I'd say the play. The play. If that's the play, then you and people like you have been playing into the play the entire time. And we'll get to that.
I think that's totally said because he's term limited. So she checks out of this situation, goes back to California, becomes the governor, freeing him up to write a book and then run for president.
That's an interesting philosophy.
What, after this election? Is that what she meant? I think she meant after this election.
Yeah.
But I think your point that it's interesting that there's even a leak at all.
They think that there's this much strategy going on, right? And this is the kind of like where I start to see things. Like I said in my I hope you guys get the community posts I make for the shows. Usually just advertisements. I don't usually just throw miscellaneous stuff in there. Maybe I should. But it's usually advertisements for how to see the forest and the trees, right? That's kind of like the main point of what we're doing here. As well as the takes, right? But I'm gonna try my best to kind of show you how I kind of look for the forest and the trees at the same time.
It is a good one to bring up because I think it speaks to the fact that there is intense internal chaos within the Democratic Party. And I have thought this for a long time. Democrats are always like, Republicans are all crazy, they don't get along. But that's because Republicans are ultimately all people who have different values who are trying to sort it out. Whereas if you have a party that's like,
they act like it's not. I mean, okay, another take here. If you think that there's internal chaos, right, in the Democratic Party, they're a top-down organization, right? I mean, if you need any reminder of that, just remember the 2016 and the 2020 nomination process when Bernie Sanders was running, right? Top-down. Internal chaos? Nope. They all fall in line just like they're supposed to, right? They all fall in line. No matter how anti-establishment left, you try to present yourself, and that's just pure communism. It seems like their anti-establishment is pure communism or some form of fascism based on authoritarian rule. I haven't seen one yet that comes out looking good. But if you don't think that they fall in line when the whip is cracked, you haven't been paying attention. right? Oh, there's internal chaos. They can't come to any decision. Bullshit. Every time they will whip. If there's any internal chaos, it comes from our side, right? Because we're not top down organized. We're really remember I talked about immersion, right? Organized chaos. That's our style, right? We're not the authoritarian type. We're more of like let things happen, and we'll naturally create an order. So it's spontaneous order is what I meant to say. Spontaneous order, where we tend to like a skating rink. We tend to naturally kind of work our way into a fluid, harmonious type of movement, right? Without anybody saying you do this, you do that. Yeah, they have a common direction on the skating rink, right? But no one's telling you what lanes to stay in or how fast to go or anything like that. But we find a way to make it work. That's just the best example of spontaneous order and what immersion is. So yeah, we're not top down. They are top down. If you don't think they're top down, just look at the results, right? I'm going to say go back and look at the results. You'll see they snap right in line behind whoever they're told to snap in line behind. So don't think that that's changed, because you got to remember most of their base are checked out. They're very self-interested. They're very vice interested in terms of their personal vices, their personal experiences. Life isn't, life is out there to be, and it's not a wrong take, is that life is out there to be experienced, but it's like they don't have to, somebody else will fix it for them, right? Someone else in government will do what they want, and that they don't have to worry about it. They can go back to worrying about what the next party is or what the next thing is they got to do. And they just want things to be their way, and they want to be viewed favorably by society and their social groups, right? So they're going to stay right in line, and they'll do as they're told, and the orders will come down, and they'll as we get into the narratives that have spun off of this debate, we'll get into that as well. But yeah, they're not I don't think they're in chaos.
Like everyone fall in line.
They might want us to think they're in chaos.
People stop doing that. It's much more divisive. Yep. And I think the fact that they're throwing these polls out would be indicative if it was an intentional leak by someone inside. The campaign is saying, we can't do this. We need to force the Biden family to accept that he needs to leave, and they will never do that.
Yeah, but I mean, we literally even had leaks out of Camp David this weekend, which unheard of, talking about how the Biden family was blaming, top advisors like Ron Klain and stuff, and putting all the blame from the poor debate performance on his advisors.
Intense internal division.
Yeah, exactly. We heard
yeah, it's just called they're in charge, and they're not going to take responsibility for it. Like, they don't take responsibility for the truth. I don't know that that's division internally. I could be wrong. I just don't think that is the pure indication of it. Yeah, what have you seen every year in New York City? Don't they still have the big ice skating rink out there in the middle of the city where everybody goes and skates? They don't have that anymore. Oh man, come on. Skating's it's not out of style. I said ice skating. Yeah, ice skating. That's not out of style. It's not out of style. They still have those. In fact, yeah, I want to go into the story, but several years back, I don't know how long it's been now, we threw a concert at a skating rink for Halloween. So yeah, it happens. That was fun though. So they make it sound like the Democrats are playing four-dimensional chess when they're actually playing checkers. Right. They're straightforward with what they're doing. I mean, their methods are proven, and when it works, they don't throw it out. Right. They don't over-optimize. They tend to, like we were talking about Wolfram when we were watching the debate itself. When Biden talks, when any of these people from the establishment talks, right, and they repeat these lies of Nancy Pelosi, whoever, they're doing it to maintain their base, right, and to indoctrinate new people into that line of thinking. They're not talking to people like us who can see through it, who know better. And that's kind of the main point that's going to be overarching through this, is like, we believe that they act like we do. And it's just, you have to get that out of your head. They don't. They're extremely strategic in what they do. And they tend to set things up way down the road. Like, for example, 2020, right? Leading up to the election. They started putting things in place that we never even saw, right? They were moving checkers across the board while we were busy looking at the polls, and we were busy doing, making fun of Joe Biden or whatever, right? And we didn't do a good enough job at hitting the right things on Joe Biden. And we're still not. And I'll bring that up here in a little bit as well, and some of the other takes they have, and pointing out, like, how hilarious it is that we think that we're on top of this for some reason. And like I said, my hot take on all this is that if certain people in the establishment wanted Joe Biden out, right, or they wanted to replace him at some point, as it's been the talking point for 4 years now, well, whether they're going to take him out and Kamala's just going to take. Remember all the different theories people like Tim and other people have had about what was going to happen in the past 4 years as far as Biden goes. They're going to take him out. They're going to put Kamala in, because they're the ones that were promoting the idea that he was unfit, right? So, of course, in their mind, logically, they have to do this. Meanwhile, they're happy to have their puppet. They're happy to have him veiling everything that's going on behind him, and the people that are involved in actually making the decisions. And the real agenda underneath that veil, the real agenda that's being pushed forward, that's coming out of the UN and WEF. I mean, I'm not going to stop talking about that, because that's something that should be behind, what we're talking about all the time, is that this creeping agenda is still being put in. I was talking about Agenda 21 and why Agenda 21 went in. So it was like a 15-year agenda. Like, it was a long agenda. If you compare, look at this. When Agenda 21 was done, right? So obviously in the year 2021, right? When that one was done, they introduced Agenda 2030. That's a 9-year difference, right? Agenda 21 was put in 90s, 98. I think I want to say 92. It was when Earth Day was founded, right? And the big conference, the big Earth Summit or whatever, down in Rio, right? Is it Rio? Yeah. I think it is. But anyways, they came out of that conference with the idea of 1 Earth Day and 2 Agenda 21, and they started putting that together. And we saw old warnings about that from way back in the 90s about this Agenda 21, right? That agenda took a very long time to implement, right? Because they were laying the foundations for agendas that would come after them. It was a stepping stone agenda, right? Which they managed to get through. And I tell you what, back in the day, we were talking about Agenda 21 and people would just tune out. They had no idea. It sounds conspiratorial to me. Well, I mean, it was like literally written on paper by the people who were going to do it. And they told you exactly what they're going to do. And they became more sophisticated with that as time went on, as they started building the foundations for this globalist agenda. See, there's the word, right? And so as they started building the foundation of that, they started becoming more organized. They started putting more stuff out. And as their technical sophistication grew, our ability to see this agenda and as for what it is, and for it to be more public and more easily accessed by people, grew. So we were able to talk about it more openly and whatnot. Still not convincing, because people were behind the idea of sustainability, behind the idea of DEI and other little globalist things that come from there, right? In order to craft and form the society into what they want, manipulate the society into what they want it to be, so that their further agenda would more easily and more productively take hold. Right. So let's continue here. Just a little bit of back history on that, and basically that these agendas that they put out are for real. They're not a conspiracy theory or a conspiracy growth. They're a conspiracy fact that's open. It's an open conspiracy. You can go to their websites. You can download the papers. You can go to and watch the Davos speeches, which I cover. I got a whole series on open conspiracies. It's in a playlist, nice little playlist that you guys can access. All right, so back to the chat for a minute. Yeah, take a minute to make sure that you got it all in there. Hey, Memento Mori, what's up? How you doing? How you doing? All right, so let's get back to this. And thank you for the comment on Wolfram. That helped me clarify a few things and bring up a few things I've been thinking about. But again, internal chaos. I mean, don't ever underestimate your opponent, and don't ever overestimate yourself. And you're more likely to come out of something one piece, right? No matter what it is. and you're more likely to be more aware of and more have a better chance of winning and be more aware of what it takes to win against that particular enemy, right? If you think that someone's just a pushover, you might get your ass kicked. If you think you got it all under control and you can beat everybody, you're more likely to lose, right? So never underestimate your opponent and never overestimate yourself.
About that Biden's sleeping hours from or his awake hours are from 10 to 4. And
who is this guy? I don't know who this guy is. I guess if I was on there, people would be saying the same thing though. Who is this guy?
I mean, all of this happening at one time, they're trying to force him out.
Trying to force him out. Okay, if they're trying to force him out, dude, whose name I don't know, then who's helping them? Is the new media being turned into useful idiots? Are we being turned into useful idiots by our some of our habits? Let me put it that way. Jacob Pete, what's up, buddy? Are we being turned into useful idiots by and not even realizing it? He just said they have an agenda to force Biden out. Well, they forced Biden out, right? Biden has to decide on his own. And I don't think someone that power hungry is going to decide on his own to do it. They have a whole group of handlers and decision makers and people who drive the agendas. He just shows up as the representation of the old criminal establishment, giving our allies that are part of that global establishment, bought in, bought out, whoever they are, who want this global kind of restructuring, this quote unquote new world order. That's all it really means. It doesn't mean an army. It doesn't mean an organization. It just means a move towards a new structure in the world and the new order in the world. Financial order mainly is what it means, but also like who's making the rules in a sense, right? But anyways, we've already covered the push towards a globalized world by subverting the Constitution with these global treaties and so on, right? But anyways, are you being used as a useful idiot? Because you probably have been repeating and retweeting and reposting all the stuff that makes Biden look incompetent. I mean, we know he is, but is that if they wanted to push him out so badly, there's this big agenda. Like, I mean, do you think it just happened, dude, or do you think that maybe they've been working on this for a while? I mean, where do you stand when you say something like that? That's a question I'd ask this guy. I don't know his name. I probably should, but that's the question I'd ask him. I'd be like, what do you think this just happened all of a sudden? Do you think we can, or do you think that they've been building this up for a while? Now, let me ask you a question. Why does things like the Hunter Biden laptop and other items like that, very damning things, why did they get taken down immediately? Why were they censored, right? And why aren't these things like we're talking about here that they're clearly calling out, that point out his state of being, right, by new media and others? Why aren't those being censored as harassment, as untruths, as whatever? Because they're being set up that way, right? When you try, and Tim's going to go into this in a minute, and I don't know if it's this video or another video, when he talks about that he knows he is intentionally cheap faking people. And I hate to have to use the establishment terminology, but they pretty much hit the nail on the head. It's more like, and you know what? They hit the nail on the head because they've been doing it the entire time. They've been doing it the entire time. They were the originators of the quote unquote cheap fakes. So they invented it. I mean, they've been doing it for a long time. Maybe it's just human nature to do stuff like that, to try to juxtapose things to be right or to manipulate people. And maybe this is something that human beings can't help no matter what side they're on. I hope that it's something that we can overcome. We can figure out a way to overcome, but we have to at least call it out to understand the problem, and that we don't want to become what we fight. We don't want to become them. The reason why the media is so corrupt is because there's such corruptible people in there. They're willing to lie to you. So if the new media is willing to, act like the old media, have we really changed? Has anything really changed? How co-optable and manipulable is the new media if they're willing to fall into the old habits? That's the point that I want to bring up, and that I would debate this guy and anybody else on this panel about, is like, where do we take this? And for Tim Pool, someone who says, I'm into building culture, I want to build a new culture, this is the solution. Well, does your new culture involve acting like the old culture? Does it involve being the old establishment media and using their tactics, their first to market, fear of not being the first one to get out there to get the clicks and the views, right? But that's more important than the truth sometimes, according to some people, right? Not me. Now, Wolfram says damage control. I guess, man, I would say that I'm gonna point out that we've seen their damage control. Their damage control is by saying convicted felon, convicted felon, convicted felon over and over again. We can't take one debate as 4 years of progress. I mean, that we've heard their press release, right? It's being echoed through their talking heads. So what the establishment is doing is one thing. Reactions, look, I'm telling you, they're gonna fall in line. I mean, that's my prediction. We'll see if I turn out to be right. We'll see if I turn out to be right about any of this. Maybe these guys are going to turn out to be right. But my experience in this realm, and it spans now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 election cycles. 5 election cycles. It tells me that that's not what they normally would do. Right? That's not what they normally would do. When they panic, what that looks like is what they did to Trump when he won. When they panic, right? They take evasive actions, and that's what they did to Trump. The witch hunts, the false accusations, the smear campaigns, and the cheap faking of what he says, right? We call it cheap faking. I call it sound biting. It's sound biting. It's all it is. It's video clipping, right? It's juxtaposition for people who understand video and media, right? Juxtapositioning. You can take the same thing and make it look a different way just by omitting certain information from it, or cutting it off at a certain point, or cutting words off at a certain point. We all know this tactic, right? So they've been doing it forever to Trump. That's what they look like when they're panicking. What they did in 2020 is what they look like when they're panicking, right? There'll be little sneaky people and change the rules underneath of us all, so they can keep counting for days and days on end. Of course, some of us saw it coming, but the leadership didn't, for some reason, think that they needed to counter that or keep an eye on it. So they were either really sneaky about it, or again, the people who are behind the anti-establishment, pushing in the political arm of it, just didn't see it, or didn't acknowledge, or didn't think it was a real thing. I don't know. I'm not there. I'm not part of that team. If I was, I would have been screaming at the top of my lungs about it the entire time. And maybe it wouldn't have happened. I don't know. All right, let's continue.
I heard that his advisor, when they were prepping for the debate, was basically prepping Biden to face a hostile Trump, a Trump that was going to insult him and make fun.
How does he know this? How does he know this? Yeah. I don't know if you missed him or not. He may still be here. I hope he is. But yeah, he was wondering where you were.
Fun of him. So Biden went in expecting that, and Trump was just super chill.
Yeah.
And Biden just stumbled around on himself.
That's a terrible take. But he's high, so
It's great. I always didn't want Trump to come off as hostile, because that was the big criticism of him in 2020, right? That he was too, aggressive and whatever else, and it made Biden comparatively look kind of calm and cool.
Yeah, so the Biden camp demanded that there would be a mute button and no audience. I think both of those things backfired on Joe Biden, because Trump couldn't just keep speaking. I mean, there's nothing that he could say. He could not railroad Biden even if he wanted to. And Trump's a showman. If you have an audience, you're trying to get a reaction out of the audience as well. There was no audience to get a reaction out of, and so Biden had more than enough rope to hang himself. I thought it was perfect.
Yeah, it's also interesting because I could be
that debate definitely helped Trump. It definitely helped the format of it and everything. It definitely, we going into it, we're like, this is supposedly going to help Biden. They're going to do this and that and this and that, and they didn't. But I don't think they knew what to do with that format of debate. Like I said, I wanted Trump to go in there and switch to southpaw, and he did. He switched to southpaw, just like in Rocky 2, right? He went in there and fooled him by cumulatively changing how he attacks, and that worked out. And keeping, maybe the court cases too had something to do with that. I don't know how much he was allowed to say or go into. I mean, he's being very careful, but he's also being very effective at the same time. Now, sometimes I think he went off a little bit too much on things, like he didn't need to go into great detail and reiterate certain points with example. More so hit the points. I pointed that out during the debate. That's the one needs improvement that Trump got from me during the debate. But otherwise, this format actually favored him. It kept him kind of like in that frame that people wanted to see him or they needed to see him, right? Calm, cool, collected, and confident.
Remembering here, but I'm pretty sure the first person to talk, despite being muted, was Biden. You know, so there was a level of like there were these rules that were supposed to hurt Trump, but it seems like Biden was the one suffering. And I think ultimately all of this comes down to what is the perception of the American people, and it's not one that I think is recoverable because they have damaged themselves on two fronts, right? Joe Biden looks weak. He looks lost. He looks confused. He looks like he doesn't know what's going on. He keeps saying Trump is lying, but there are very obvious, clear signs that he was lying or at least misremembering, which is also not good. But then also for months.
Really? What would I mean when people say that they need to elaborate? That was just like whoop, straight through. Right? Didn't remember what is it? I haven't yet to hear anybody tell me one lie that Trump told or one misremembering. Yet even our side is repeating it because that's the other side's counter. He lied. It does lie. You know, you realize when they say he's lying, like they'll say, "Oh, he denies J6 was an insurrection." He says Nancy Pelosi was responsible for it. These are the things they count as lies. They count truths as lies, but yet we don't push back on that. Like, take a second. I'm not even. What's her name? Take a second and push back on the narrative. Right? Take a second and push back on the narrative. What lies? Well, give me the list. Let's run through the list. Does anybody have the list? Anybody out there that can find me the list? I'll run through it right now. I've yet to see it. Hey, thanks, MLS, man. Take care, bud. Always excellent to see you. Best of luck with what you're doing, man. And let's hang out sometime. Today they're saying it's tired and jet lagged that had Joey Boy fumbling his words. I could go Milko. It's like the love between those two. Let's see. Yeah, you know, they're gonna come out with whatever is gonna work because their audience halfway pays attention and are very, you know, they're soundbite headline grabbing people, right? I told you about the dude who used to propagate mainstream media subversion all the time, right? When it came to that, he could just grab it. He wouldn't even read the articles. He would grab the headline that looked damning and post it right away with nothing to it. And I would go into his comments and call him out. Did you even read this? And he flat out admitted to me he doesn't read it. But then there's a couple people that were like that. So you got to imagine if I knew two people that were like that, just in my you know, immediate circle. Imagine how many other people are just doing the exact same thing, right? They only want the venom, right? So they're going to grab the venom. They're going to grab the emotionally triggering statements that emotionally triggered them to trigger others, and this like cascading effect, right? That's how this kind of propaganda works. It's about implanting emotional triggers and then putting out headlines and statements that then enact them, that activate them. And you activate them enough over and over and over again, and you'll lead some people to big actions, bigger actions, right? To bigger actions. So like protesting and rioting and encampments and things like that. So the weaker minded people will activate so hard on this, or they'll be influenced to activate so hard, they'll actually go out into the streets, right? They'll create the optics that they're looking for, emotionally triggered. That's the way they operate. So she very clearly stated Biden and Trump was lying, and it turned back into Biden as a critique. Not sure if you caught that. I'm sure it is, but my statement was the whole Trump was lying thing. Show it to me. Show it to me. Stop repeating the lie. The lie. Stop repeating the narrative, I should say, and show me what the hell you're talking about. Right? New media has to do better than the old media. We have to do better. And then that's me just doing a peer review saying, hey, you guys got it. You got the audience. You're on the right side of things. Just do better. Like, don't fall back into old habits. Understand where you can improve, right? Opportunities to debunk and deprogram the establishment narrative, like Trump was lying. That's their main go-to right now. That's their main go-to. That and the felonies, which of course may be overturned now. and maybe overturned because they were using they use some in presidential duty evidence, right? So that might be go away. Then all they have left was Trump was lying. I'm going to show you some stuff. I'm going to show you. I got a man on the street video, right? Where immediate reaction after the debate. We're going to see who adopted what narrative and what their reactions were coming out of it. How fast people were reprogrammed after that debate. It comes out crystal clear when you see the people do a man on the street right after something like this happens. You can see how many people were taken in by what. You'll hear the talking points come right off their lips, right? And it'll show you exactly how many people were kind of influenced by it. So we're going to take a look at that, and it's going to be a react because I haven't watched the entire thing, but I know that there's a good example of at least 3 different takes on it already. So we'll be watching that coming up. If I can get through we're doing good. We're an hour in. This is about analysis. Analysis takes time, right? I may not have been chewing through Biden's control cables backstage. Well, if you were, that would have been a good thing. They really need to upgrade Biden from the 1960s to Disney animatronics. Right? Oh man. All right.
The mainstream media, which as we know is largely an apparatus of progressive or democratic causes, said everything is fine. Anytime a right-wing person says that something's up with Joe Biden's balance or memory or walk or anything, they're crazy. They're conspiracy theorists.
No, that's not what they're saying. They're not crazy. Well, I mean, yes, they are. Okay. Let me try to get into her head a little bit, right? Yeah, okay, because we get roped in with all the conspiracy grifters on this side, right? Because there's so much conspiracy grifting going on. A lot of it, I feel, is intentional to discredit. Like I said, once you're outside the establishment narrative, all they can do is discredit you and silence you and silo you away, right? That's all they can do, right? Because you can never go back to that side. I guess some people can be bought off and go back to the other side. I guess there's a fourth option there, not something I would feel they would think is a good investment, but the tactic is to discredit, right? So you can rope Tim Pool in with right-wing conspiracy theorist talk, right? Because he kind of opens himself up for it a little bit, even though he's so adverse to conspiracy that he'll default to philosophy over even acknowledging that there's a true open conspiracy that we can plainly see. In some cases, not all. But let me rewind this for a second. Just 5 seconds. All right. Oh, not that.
Joe Biden's balance or memory or walk or anything, they're crazy. They're conspiracy theorists. They're, disrespectful to the president. And then he came on stage. Right. Okay. So and we're going to hear this later, but there's only certain ones that they're pushing back on because they have been juxtaposed. They have been clipped. They have been soundbited. And it's just us doing what they do. And Tim is going to admit to it here. I promise you. If you haven't seen this yet, Tim admits to it coming up that he's doing it. So, I mean, like my point is like, we cannot win by becoming what we fight. We'll just become more of them. And then the pendulum will swing back and forth. And we'll be easily co-opted and they'll easily put plants into our side. And they know what they're doing. The idea that they don't understand us is ridiculous. They understand that they don't know how we operate or are going to react to something is ridiculous. We're talking about people who have for generations understood psychology, psychiatry, whatever, and they've understood information warfare before we even became sophisticated to it. Most of us, we've all been affected by it. If you don't think that you've been affected by the establishment narrative in your life, man, you haven't been following the show very closely. I mean, I'll admit that I have. I mean, if the guy hosting it can say that he's been affected by it in his lifetime, I broke free of it. That's why I'm here to show people how to do it and to be with people who have, and to continue to fight to never become that again, to try to change the world in a way where we don't revert back to being deceitful people operating in a deceitful society, therefore controlling the population through information-based mind control, abuse, whatever you want to call it, right? It's all out there. Let's keep going. And it was not good. He did not seem like a strong, healthy man.
That's all we need. All we need is the truth. I mean, honestly, for what you said, all the time that we have spent trying to point out that he's incompetent, he's not a good president, all this other stuff, right? We didn't talk about this child sniffing enough. That's the one thing that should disqualify him immediately. They never should have even been considered for the office because of that behavior. Yet they're able to snow over it because we don't focus harder on the things that really affect it. The laptop we tried to, we can point out that it was censored. That's a strong point. Ukraine quid pro quo, strong point. Ashley Biden's diary, strong point. Like these are the things we need to focus on, not the fact that he's an old dude who has had some fumbles and bumbles. I mean, they're funny, right? They're memeable. Save those for the memes, right? But don't try to report it as like this. It's at the top of the narrative on our side right now, and like we think that we're so effective. And I just feel like we're all being basically we all have to win and lose together, right? That we're being manipulated. It's so easy to do. I mean, it's like just feed them a little bit more and they'll grasp at it. I'm not saying that Joe Biden is intentionally doing these things in order to get us to react to them, but I'm saying that it's very predictable what we'll do when something like that happens, right? And now it's even more predictable that we'll fall for juxtaposed video clips. Like, and they could say this and that, and they're still pushing back on the cheap fake narrative. And instead of just saying, hey, you know what, you guys are doing it first, how about we all stop? How about, Trump on the elevator, Trump here, Trump there, Trump there. They've the Trump at the koi pond with the Chinese leader, right? When they made it look like he just dumped the food in there to be disrespectful. That's a cheap fake, right? I mean, I can name off hundreds of theirs. I can only name off like a dozen or so on our side so far, right? And it all have to do with Biden. It's like a humiliation, right? We're really trying to put memeing into an official narrative. We all know he's incompetent. We all know he's being handled. We all know that. That's not going to change anything because, like I've pointed out before, the people who will side with the establishment don't care if Joe Biden is a ham sandwich as long as it's not Trump, right? They don't care. If they replace the candidate, they're not going to care. They're still going to vote with the D because they've been programmed to do it and they're not paying attention to anything. They're blocking out everything else that's not being confirming their program bias, right? So keep that in mind and understand the establishment knows that, right? We've looked at how they speak when they're in public. It's always to them, right? And we've looked at the fact that they programmed in this venomous hatred for Trump. They've overwritten the archetype of Trump into something that is pure evil and that will trigger them emotionally. And so some to action, right? Some to action. So we understand where they're coming from. And so the idea that hold on a second, let me just rewind it 1 second here.
Him on stage and it was not good. He did not.
The idea that we need to be dishonest to get our point across isn't their side is almost impossible to reach. Like we hope that they have moments of clarity, but they're not going to have moments of clarity when they perceive us as just picking on an old guy who has moments here and there, right? They're still being fed the lies about Trump. They're still being programmed that he lies, that he's lying all the time, that nothing he's saying is true, and that's effective, right? It's gonna get people out there to vote against them, and there's nothing we can really do about that in the long term.
Not seem like a strong, healthy man.
What really kind of cements all this that he's not going to be the nominee is that Jake Tapper and Anderson Cooper are going so hard against.
Okay, so because Jake Tapper and Anderson are going hard against him, then that cements it to this guy. I don't buy it. They've gone hard on things before, and it's not happened. So this doesn't prove anything. Again, it's kind of short-sighted. I bring up the counterpoint that if they wanted to do this, right, they didn't need to go this far. We've been doing it for them the entire
against
time.
Him and pointing out that his dementia, or if it's Alzheimer's, I'm not sure. They're different, obviously, but like they're basically controlled by by CNN with their parent company.
It's definitely not Alzheimer's. I mean, definitely not. But anyways,
which is controlled by Five Eyes, the Imperial Spy Club, whatever you want to call it, the deep state. And so all the signs are there that the deep state has decided to allow this criticism of the guy. They wouldn't do that if they wanted him to win, and they're not going to let him win if they don't.
Or if they wanted to build empathy for him, like they wanted to build empathy for him in the base. The base is only going to hear that we're lying about him and that Trump lies and that we're a bunch of, conspiracy theorists, alt-right threats to democracy people, right? That's all they hear. They don't have time. They don't sit there and do the kind of analysis we're doing right now. They don't sit there and pick through things like we do. Like they're headline readers. They just need the boost. They just need that they just need to be re-energized with a hatred and venom. They just need the confirmation bias. That's what I'm saying.
Want him to win. The DNC gets to pick their own candidate with super delegates. They have zero chance. Like Biden, in
That's exactly true.
no way gets any kind of popular opportunity. It's whatever the DNC wants to do is what they're going to do.
Well, yeah, but the Biden has to release those super delegates, dude.
Right.
So the polling data extended that shows Biden, Buttigieg, Harris, Newsom, and Whitmer, no matter who it is, they're underwater. Trump only needs North Carolina, Arizona, and I believe Georgia. So let's do this. Let's reset the map and say North Carolina,
right.
Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada. Okay, so that still puts him a little bit shy.
I'm gonna jump.
So
on
let's
this one.
throw in. I guess he would need at least one more. Buttigieg, they say, they're claiming Buttigieg is doing the best. North Carolina, Arizona, Georgia, Nevada. He would need one more state. But to be fair, how are they doing in PA? Looks like Democrats are doing moderately well in PA. I think Michigan probably doesn't make the most sense. The state that makes the most sense is probably going to be PA, which looks like they're all underwater. So if Trump secures that based on this polling, no matter who they bring in, Trump wins. I mean, right now, Biden is underwater in PA. Buttigieg is only underwater by 0.4 margin of error.
See, and like what we can do, right? And here's strategy, right? Here's strategy. What we can do with this is we can turn this into the fact that the Democrats aren't trustworthy, right? That would be if they were to replace him, it's just not trustworthy, right? They ran this guy. So that we could come out of this with a counter if, but the counter is going to be whatever Tim Pool says, whatever, the bigger, louder voices, the ones with the more subs and more reach say, right? Like the narrative has been this entire time, controlled the entire time. If you want to control the narrative in new media, just influence these people. That's what you do. Get them, see what their habits are, what their tendencies are, and pull them in the direction you want them to go. Like Yuri said, right? You pulled it. It's like the judo move, right? It's like the judo move. And they're still going to be using those same tactics because they work, and they've proven to work over the test of time. But we could come out of this with the narrative that they're untrustworthy. They'll throw anybody at you. They tried to run this guy all the way to the point where it got called out, and it became so obvious that he was. But they lied to you the entire time. Is that going to defect that many people? I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe. I mean, that's the one counter we could have to a replacement. Is that they're untrustworthy. They're going to throw somebody at you didn't even vote for, you didn't even want, and now they're going to force this guy down your throat. So we can do something with that if the people that are at the top of the food chain and the information distribution on our side understand this and adopt that, right? If they just come out and say, I told you so, I told you so, I told you so, that's not going to be very effective.
Harris is underwater by 2 points, Newsom by 1.3, and Whitmer by 0.3.
Michelle Obama.
It's got to be Michelle Obama.
Okay, so here we go again. Michelle Obama said over and over and over again, she's not going to do it. She's not going to do it. She's not going to do it. She doesn't have experience. She would only be popular because people knew her as the first lady. It doesn't mean that she has what it takes to be the damn president of the United States, right? And now these people are convinced. I feel like there's a lot of groupthink that goes on in this panel, right? It's gotta be this. They keep thinking like themselves, but the establishment doesn't think like you, bro. Right? It doesn't operate like you. It knows what you're thinking, but it doesn't operate on a logical. They operate in strategy. It's always been strategy. If it's more strategically sound to switch Biden out, then they're going to do that. I think they realize no matter who, they're gonna lose. So they could very well just say, this is the way it is. This cycle, we're the analytics show, no matter what we do, we're not going to win. So let's just play it safe this time. Put up the pick to lose candidate, as they've done in the past when they had the false left right paradigm going on, and let it happen. And we'll recoup, and we'll come back in 4 years, and we'll with somebody else. We'll build them up. We'll tear them down. We'll go after Vivek and try to mess him up before he can run, or whoever else looks like they're going to be leading in 2028 for our side, right? Yeah, and Michelle Obama is leading the celebrity life. Why would exactly? Why would she give that up when they're running things behind the scene anyways? Like, if anybody doesn't think that Obama has influence in this administration, I think that they're missing it, right? Of course he does. He's just not in your face about it. He's trying to be undercover about it. The ideal thing for anybody, like, you don't see George Soros and all these big globalists running for office. No, they want to control and puppet the people in office. The people in office, like Joe Biden and on the establishment side, they're useful idiots for the globalists, right? They feel like they have power. They feel like they have clout. They're giving all these things: notoriety, fame, money, privacy to do their perverted things they want to do, right? They're given all this stuff, but it all can be taken away so fast by the ones above them, right? So the true power doesn't come out in front and try to be the president. True power hides behind the scenes and tells the president what to do. That's the establishment model. So yeah, when they're one step up the ladder, why would they take one step back down the ladder? I mean, I get it. They want to secure the power. They want to keep power, and they think Michelle Obama can do it. Dude, do you think that she's going to be able to hang in a debate and understand the issues and really come across with anything but a bunch of nothing? We give this lady too much credit because of celebrity status, because she was first lady, because of Barack Obama. The same reason Biden got a lot of credit, right? But does she have the experience and what it takes to run the country? No. And if people want to take a gamble on that, that's how I would counter Michelle Obama. You ready to gamble again at this time when we have this war and this problem and this financial crisis and this other war and this a civil unrest? And you really want to gamble again, or do we know based on 4 years before that Trump will at least not doom us, right? He'll at least do some good. News conferences now, Benny Johnson covering on X. Biden just sent more money to MO, to Ukraine. Joe's not going anywhere. Yeah, I don't think he's going anywhere. And I think the speculation and time taken from the new media on this point is just, I think that there's, we can make a case. If you guys like conspiracies, I'll give you one. We can make a case that they found a way to turn our media into useful idiots when they need it, into pawns when they need to do it. And I have yet to see anybody on any of these major channels take a step back and really take a hard look at what's going on from a high level. They're so focused, and I get it. I mean, Tim Pool is a good businessman. He's a great businessman. He's got millions of dollars. He's got tons of oars in the water, and he probably is very, very, very busy. Like, he's very busy. Day to day, phone never stops, new thing, trying to get this going, trying to get that guy. Oh, time for a show. Oh, time for me to do news. Oh, time. Man, I don't envy him in terms of how spread out he must feel right now. Right. It's a lot of stress, a lot of pressure to keep something that's going. Once you get this amount of success, to keep it going, keep the money coming in, to keep funding and pushing forward your other endeavors, your other investments, it gets to be maddening. So, props to him for being able to hang in there and do it. But that can narrow your view of the world. It can keep you from taking a step back to take those those moments to reassess things, to take a high level look at things.
There's no other, and look, this isn't something I want to say.
Michelle Obama doesn't want to do it.
Well,
thank you. At least she realizes it.
Why do you believe? Why believe that?
Right.
I think.
Why believe anything then? I mean, it's picking and choosing what you want to believe at this point. The woman has said for years she doesn't want to do it. If they want to get Joe Biden out, why wouldn't they be test running her right now? Why wouldn't they be doing all the things they normally do for the candidate right now? They're not doing any of that. You think that they're magically going to throw her in at the convention and it's going to be all over, right? Oh, well, it makes sense because then you don't have the veterans. You don't have to go through all that could backfire. That could backfire. You think, okay, just because they throw in Michelle Obama, suddenly they just win. They just win. It's not an automatic. Why believe it? Because she said she doesn't want to do it. If she did, look at Whitmer. Whitmer's already test marketing, trying to be ready at the ready. She's power hungry. Found something wild for you if you want to keep yourself. Listen to the AI reconstruction and translation of the National Socialist speeches into English. Spooky. Okay, I'll take a look at that. I can't do it right now, but I'll take a look at it. Parallels with the left wind is scary as shit. She. Cool. I'll make sure I grab that, Grim, and I'll save it. Open it in a new tab. Oh, Joseph Goebbels. Wow. I've seen the translations of the Hitler speeches, man, and they're kind of crazy. I don't know if you don't know if you're getting the real thing or not, but I've seen them translated into English. Interesting, very interesting. Drunk as a skunk. Is that what that means? There you go. Grim is my man. He's got a great music channel. Check it out. Anyways, yeah. So this guy defaulted to Michelle Obama right away. He's just looking for something to be right about, I guess. He hasn't installed a lot of trust in me and his takes so far, and I don't really know who that is. But some of these leaps he makes, and then Tim makes kind of makes it back. Why believe that? Okay, so you're willing to believe they're deceiving you about Michelle Obama, all right? But you're not willing to believe that you're being kind of, that they understand this media, and then they can literally have you guys further a narrative that they want to promote. Like if they really wanted to get rid of Joe Biden, we've done nothing but help them and put a stronger candidate in, right? So on one hand, they're sitting here saying they want a stronger candidate. They're realizing it now. They're in free fall. They're in panic. They're in civil war. They're in all these things, right? We're supposed to believe that. But then we're not supposed to believe that, that Michelle Obama, when she says she doesn't want to run, given that she has no need to run, her husband's already behind the scenes controlling the puppets, at least part of the control over the puppet, right? As an advisor, if you will, right? And why would she bother? Why would she bother? They got all the money and fame in the world. They're hobnobbing. Why would she put herself out there like that? For America? She doesn't even like America. She goes, we're doing just fine collapsing it. We're doing just fine. But it's funny, he'll get so serious and push back on the fact that Michelle Obama says she doesn't want to run, doesn't show any indications of being set up to run at this point. Right? But why believe that? I mean, I guess she could be talked into it. Let's see. The last debate was huge. CNN's rules caused Trump to get out of Biden's way. His big mouth cover for Biden's meandering. All this conjecture is a problem. It's a distraction. I just assume it's going to be a potato Joe until it's someone else. Everyone else needs to continue talking about the problems. Exactly, Memento. Exactly. And dude, focus on the real criminality of the man. Like, the fact that he's made some weird, that he's an old man and he moves like an old man. Here's another thing about let me just real quick. You know how they talk about the steps down at the after the convention, how Jill helped him? Like, why wouldn't she have been there and helped him down the steps? Like, let me ask you a question. When you look at that clip, how many steps are there? Go back and look at it. Somebody with, who's a little bit slower physically, he's been through surgeries, physically a little bit decrepit. Yeah, we all know Joe's got issues, right? But if you look at that stage, it looks like there's about 5 steps there from the lighting. There's only one. There's only one step. And why would she not make sure he didn't make one little fumble by looking ahead and not seeing that step? There's one step downs, and they get a bunch of lights that make it look like there's 6 steps there. That could be, that could be very confusing. I wouldn't expect a lot of people to fall for that. But why wouldn't she, if she's guiding him when to walk arm in arm with him, why wouldn't she do that? I mean, I can make excuses for it, right? Does it show a little bit of physical decrepancy? Yeah. Of course, people are saying physical decrepancy isn't mental decrepancy. Of course, the whole debate showed that he can't string a sentence together, is still willing at his age just to spin lie after lie after lie to try to deceive people. That's the criminality of the man. That has nothing to do with this decrepancy. And as Joe pointed out last night, Did his discrepancy cause the war in Ukraine? Did its discrepancy cause this? Did it cause inflation? Did it cause this? No, none of his discrepancy caused any of this stuff. It's still an agenda that's being driven. Joe made a great point on that last night. So, but I was really wishing he had a call-in show last night because I was heated up about that replay, and I wanted to talk about like how that was basically what I'm talking about today. I want to talk about with him. I'd love to go on shows and talk about these things. You know, I'm thank God I have you guys. Thank God I have you guys to talk about this stuff with. Calling it. Have a great show and a better holiday. Thank you, Grimsbar. Always a pleasure, my man. Always a pleasure, dude. Best to you and yours. All right, so let's finish
But
this
she
off.
has a really nice life.
She
and
does.
She
So did Trump. So did Trump.
Look, she's
They're not the same, Tim. This is a terrible argument. Terrible argument. Trump was in the limelight, and Michelle Obama has never been in the limelight until her husband got elected, right? And she's still a secondary figure, you know. She may be a big deal on The View or something, but that's about it. Most people don't pay her any attention or any mind. They just see her as a better, you know. Maybe some people see her as a step up because she's more cognitive than Joe Biden, but does she more experience? Does she have what it takes? She'll just be puppeted too. I think anybody realizes that. You think he's being stupid right now? I mean, he's just being, I don't know if he's trying to get a better conversation out of it or if he actually believes what he's saying, right? So it was Trump. I don't think that's a fair, you know, I think that's fair at all. Trump was a worldwide celebrity long before he ever ran for president.
not running for office. I mean, Hillary Clinton was first lady and then ran for governor of New York, right? Michelle Obama's been hanging out on yachts and raising her kids and doing whatever. Like
private jets around
going
the
on
world.
her podcast. Like she did not make any forward political moves.
This girl's doing a good job.
When they left the White House, that's very different from Hillary Clinton, who we know if they asked her to run, she would run.
This
right
is
now.
also,
but Barack Obama looks over at Michelle and he goes,
okay, so now you're making things up, Tim. Okay, that's cool. It's your show. You can do that. Now you're making things up, like, because you're not in the bedroom with Barack and Michelle, and thank God, right? Thank God. But now you're making things up to make a point, and I question that.
Michelle, if you don't want, I'm going to jail. So you got to do it. That's it.
Yeah, but it's also about the Obama legacy.
That's it. And according to him, they were already going to replace Joe with Kamala at the convention. He just said, "Let me tell you what's going to happen," and that's what he already said that earlier in the show. Right? Again, new media, leading voices, biggest reach. We got to do better.
As well, because Obama has tied himself so tight to Joe Biden now, especially doing all these fundraisers, going around the country with him, and he's basically dragging Biden along. It's going to look awful on Obama and his legacy if this is just if everybody totally melts down in the Democrat Party. So
I agree with this point, but I agree with I disagree with the outcome. Obama is as smooth as they come when it comes to manipulating, and he would slip and slide right out of that and say, I did my best to help Biden. I thought he was a great choice. He's a great VP. And I'll say a million great things about him. But, we all have to, Father Time will catch up with us all. And it's just the time, unfortunately, has run out on, he deserves a great retirement. He's had a great career. And, I believe that my wife can. So if I'm going to scenario it myself, I would say that Obama will slide right out of that. Although, yes, he's been tied to him, and that's a bad look. And promoting a decrepit candidate, right? But at the same time, you could also say, "Well, I was just supporting the Democrat Party. I was going on a party that I once led and was the president for." I don't think it's going to hurt Obama that he's been, babysitting Biden. I mean, it's definitely not going to hurt Michelle. She wasn't there. So
interesting that
she is his savior.
It's interesting that you said, because I have felt like since Joe Biden announced he was running for office, the Obamas have been trying to distance themselves from him.
Well, they wouldn't endorse.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I don't know what insider information they have, but I keep seeing Obama out there with Biden. So that's not distancing at all.
Him in the primary.
They wouldn't endorse him. Anytime they've kind of talked about him, it's been sort of muted. Even Obama's last tweet being like, "Bad debate nights happen." Like it did.
I mean, that's just covering. This is covering. I don't see that as distancing at all. We'll see. I mean, I could be wrong, but right now I don't see it that
It
way.
did not seem like a really strong supportive argument. It was sort of like, yeah, I know that guy, and like, be nice to him. It's, you know, it's kind of sad.
But that's not how the people see it, though.
I think it is how they see it.
You
I
think?
think
Okay, let's
people
listen to this.
know that the Obamas are distant from.
I don't think so. I don't think. I mean, again, this is a guy. Again, knowing your base. Like, what people are you talking about? You talking about people like us? Maybe. Talking about people like their base? No, not at all. They barely pay attention. That's why they're their base. You think, and that's just that we have to remember who we are. We have a responsibility to be accountable for who we are in new media, right? Plausible to my ability. We have a responsibility if we're influencing other people to be accurate and be truthful, and to be humble at the same time. But we also know the game we're involved in, and that side doesn't think like us. All right, they don't care about the same things we do. They don't view information the same way we do. They're under a massive influence that we're not, that we're outside of. You have to put yourself in their shoes. You have to still be able to empathize with the first veil dwellers. You know, we have to still empathize with them. I mean, there's a part of me that still wants to rescue them, still wants to pull them out. You know, I realize that at this day and time and place, there's nothing I can do but try to put information out there and hope somebody stumbles upon it and it resonates with them. However, you know, as far as me going back to my old stomping grounds and my old friends and my old people and trying to pull them out from underneath this dark influence, you know, that the time has passed. That time passed, you know, 10 years ago, where I thought that was a good call. You know, I still would like to. And if anybody's on the fence, I'm there. What's up, Oilers fan? How you doing? Edmonton Oilers. I was trying to figure. I had to look at your logo closer because I was thinking Houston Oilers. I was gonna be like, man, yeah, Earl Campbell, Warren Moon, classics, right? But then I was like, okay, Edmonton Oilers hockey. Yeah. There you go. And thanks for the invite to the Discord and welcome to my Discord. Everybody say hi to Oilers fan. Thank you so much for being here tonight. So yeah, like I was saying, you need to understand both sides. You can't just we can't just pretend. I think we do that too much in the new media. I keep calling it the new media, alt media, new media, not establishment media. We keep doing that too much. We forget that there's this wall of influence between us and the other side. The people, I mean, just the base, right? The everyday people. There's a wall of influence. There's a wall of habits, programming, everything. And there's a lot of difference between the way our minds work. Now we hang out with each other, you know, at a bar or at a picnic or somewhere, and we're all just normal people, right? You get into the world of politics and belief systems, that's when the changes happen. That's when we have a massive separation in how we view the world and how we consume and view information. They take it soundbite at a time, program at a time, right? 90% of them, 99% of them will say somewhere in that range. Us, on the other hand, we're at 50%, right? Of course, when it comes from our side, though, we fall into that same habit again sometimes of just leaping into beliefs about what we're hearing, right? We're leaping into confirmation bias, things we have to be careful about on our side. And as creators and as new media voices, we should work to not put our consumers and our viewers, our supporters in that situation. We should work on our delivery and our topics and our cadence in a way that doesn't put them in a position where they have to, take too much on faith, or where they get into the habit of just buying into everything that we say, right? We have a responsibility to be accountable for the influence that we push out on all levels. That's what separates us from the establishment media. And any deviation from that just puts us in the same boat as them, right? And so, and some people think that's really great because they can use that psychological weapon that's already been in place for so long to benefit themselves, right? To grift the crowd. And man, wow, I love you guys and need your support and appreciate every bit of it. One thing I will not bring myself to do is to grift on you guys, man. If I was going to do something like that, I just would shut the channel down and, reappear somewhere else with a whole different thing, right? And hope nobody else ever picked out my voice. But anyways, yeah, that's like end of world shit. That's like, okay, end of world. We can't do anything at this point. So let's grift on out. I'm going to grift the hell out of the establishment media. The first fail people, get as much money as I can and go hide and try to. No, I still couldn't bring myself to do it. I mean, I speculate like that, but that's not me. If I was that way, I'd already be doing it. I'd already be wasting your time. I'd already be, kissing your ass. I'd already be doing all that stuff. That's just not me. I can't bring myself to do it. So at least we'll get something authentic,
Joe Biden. And I think that there's a level of like they expected there to be more buddy Obama presence at the White House. And I do think Obama, especially his staff, have huge influence on the Biden administration, especially at the staffing level. But I think Obama himself.
I got this point. We're going to move on. We're going to move to the next video. I don't think I wanted to play that one first, but I went with it anyways. But it had the polling data. So I'm going to do it like this, right? Where are we at? Okay, cool. We got plenty of time. Now, I'm going to jump over to, I really meant to play the video after this one first, but it's okay. I'm going to jump over to this one right here. Now, and I hope you guys enjoyed that part. Just, again, I'm going to be doing hot takes on the narratives that are out there. And it's basically new media narratives on establishment media narratives. It's kind of interesting. Now, check this out. The Quartering, who's not a political channel, not a, and he even admits it in this video. He's fairly upfront about himself, which I appreciate. But it's so funny when you see someone like this come out and say, Donald Trump faces massive psyop that you must be aware of. This is how we lose. Exclamation point. I appreciate this in a way. And in the same way, I know it's a grifty headline. Now, what do you guys think is massive psyop is? Thank you, Wolfram, by the way, for that. And when you do that, we do this.
It's cold. A big blanket knobs. It has to do. I can't imagine a more beautiful thing. It's cold. I can tell you all about it. I mean, look at this thing. Gonna try to get out of anything thing.
Wolfram, thank you for gifting the 5 memberships, man. I really do appreciate that. Always appreciate your support of the channel. Who got a membership tonight? Lucifer the Doberman, welcome. Leslie Collier, welcome. I think everybody here is welcome back. Maybe not. Latin A, yay, Latin A. And Lisa Faltersack, thank you. I haven't seen that one before, so she would be new. And they call me Rose. All right, cool. All great people. Great choices. All right. I'm so happy you guys are all part of the winner circle now, and I hope that you will consider becoming a reoccurring member, because that really helps the channel out a lot. It really does, especially these days, these lean contract days for me. It really does help out a lot. It really does. I do appreciate it. All right, thank you, Wolfram, again. So let's hear what this massive psyop is that the Quartering is warning us all about.
The main thing is, you bunch of despite the provocation from the Democrats, no red wave talk. Right. No red wave talk. No red wave talk. No red wave talk. No in red wave talk.
Okay. Hopefully that's not.
I want to issue a warning. Obviously, my videos have been a little more politics heavy lately. Trust me, I'll be making fun of the acolyte later today. It's just what's going on in America right now is unprecedented. There is what is, in my opinion, the biggest push, the biggest op to try and fool Republicans and Trump supporters in history. And we saw them do this, by the way, before everyone,
So if we saw them do it before, it's not the biggest one in history, is it?
hand waves this away. Remember the red wave? Remember that? Remember how that never happened? Remember how Hillary Clinton was miles ahead during the 2016?
Hold on, that's two different things. The red wave not happening would support your point. The Hillary Clinton not happening would negate your point.
Every single poll in 2016 had Hillary Clinton miles ahead. And then you saw all these wokies having complete meltdowns because they couldn't possibly figure out how this happened because everybody had been telling them.
Yeah, but what you're saying here, and before we even get going, is that they're using this thing. I won't spoil it, and for two different ways that contradict each other. But anyways, just remember that.
For months and months that Hillary Clinton was going to win. Everyone was telling Republicans for months and months there was a red wave coming. Don't even bother voting. This is in the bag. This absolutely reeks like this.
Red waves are dependent upon you voting. They mean that you need to vote in order to make the red wave happen. It's not like the votes are already in. Right? Anybody thinks that, okay, we got it in the bag, I'm not even going to bother leaving the house today. They don't understand what that means. This is a predictive. Polls are predictive, right? But yeah, like Memento is telling us, people need to stop looking at polls as well. Just go frickin' vote. Exactly. Polls schmoles, man. And yes, they use polls to deceive us. Now, you remember in the last one, Tim was reading down that poll like it was goddamn religion, right? He's buying into every part of it. And so, but you can't count on the polls. The polls are they're an easy weapon against you. Like, why would you count on some kind of polls that some stranger somewhere is doing with some people you never met? You don't know who they're talking to. You don't know if they're legitimate. They have no accountability. Who are they accountable to? Who are they accountable to if they lie? When have you ever heard of any poll being taken down or just completely completely run into the ground and dissembled? You know, I don't know. When have you heard of a poll go out of business, right? Because they're doing something deceitful, right? They're not giving you real stuff. The only poll that counts is when the final vote is counted. Yes, exactly.
You must keep your foot on the gas until the day after the election.
I love that. That's perfect. Yeah, you need that's the point here.
There is no slowing down. There is no looking at. It's fun to look at these charts, but it's my opinion that this is a massive psyop to get every single. No, I'm not. You know, I got no problem with wokeness or Tim Pool or any of these people. Everybody posted this chart.
Yeah,
right? You saw it, right?
Yeah, it went around like this, right? And this is how psyops can work. I get it. You know, to make people. He's seeing what we've seen in the past. I've talked about in the past. I'm glad he's coming around to it. Like, I appreciate the fact he's coming around to it and he's saying something about it with this massive platform. To not buy into the polls. This is a great point that he's making. Now, is it a massive psyop? It's one. I think that there's another massive psyop going on that you are part of that you don't even see yet. But like I tagged him in this video. If he could bother to look at a small channel like mine and want to have a discussion, I'm very much open to it. He would be a guy I think would have a reasonable conversation about new media standards and where we should try to aspire towards to separate ourselves from the old establishment media in terms of the future. Like, what kind of media do we want to see in the future? What kind of world do we want to live in, where we are constantly being hit with psychological operations and propaganda and subversion, or where we clean all that stuff up and we learn how to detect it and we reject it. We do not let it become a standard. The worst thing that could happen is that we adopt it as a standard on our side by giving into the things that enable that type of subversion, that type of loose journalism and loose news reporting that open the gates for things like this. But anyways, let's listen to some more.
If you're on X, you saw it. Oh my God, it's gonna,
And this is what hold on real quick. This is what I'm talking about too. Like how easy it is to control the new media. You just push something out, and then you got wokeness, you got Tim Pool, you got all kinds of other people that will sit there and retweet it before they even have a chance to think about it. Boom, 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 boom. Polling is so easily manipulated, says Memento Mori. The area the polling takes place in, the demographics of those polls, etc. Yeah, it's just so unreliable. It's so unreliable. And then as far as Hillary Clinton goes, they were trying to make us stay home, I guess, and say, well, there's just no chance for Trump, but what they ended up doing is making their own stay home, I guess. Or we were just so much massive that didn't strike a sense of urgency they needed. I don't know. The only certain people really know what went on there. But I guess the fact of the matter is that people rose up. They didn't want the false left right paradigm to continue. Right. That's why Trump got the nomination, and that's why he won the election, because they were done with the I'll hand it off to you next. Best friend on the right. The Bushes and the Clintons and the Obamas all in bed together, all hanging out together. They love each other. Meanwhile, people are like, fighting in the streets and fighting online and ending friendships over the which one of them is better presidents, when they're nothing but the same. Corruption, nothing but the same. Corrupt establishments that work for the higher cause, that coordinate together and never pull down or replace the policies of the last administration. The only time we've ever seen that happen is when Biden did it to Trump, right? That's what you would have expected from the Bushes and the Clintons. Well, that never happened, right? They just continued the bad policies, and they just moved with their own agenda. There's the agenda on the left, the agenda on the right, all going towards the same place, but they have different goals they need to meet, right? By maintaining the underlying agenda going into place, right? The parallel construction of what will be the replacement society of replacement society. I guess it's a bad word, bad analogy in terms of what's out there right now. Let's just say the new structure of our country, right? That's being built parallel right now to what we have, so that when it goes into place, it seems like it was always there, or it was a natural evolution and not being manufactured. So let's continue here.
Look at Trump. He's winning every state except for 7 of them. He's going to get 400 electoral college votes.
Yeah, you see that, you start feeling pretty good. Right? I mean, that's the idea. Is it the dopamine hits? You're like, oh, we're winning. We got, oh man, thank God, things are going to change soon. We only got a little under half a year to go, and we're going to be there. Thank God, everything's working out finally after 4 years of hell. It makes you feel pretty good, right? Now, hopefully this would never inspire anybody on our side not to go vote, but maybe relax. I don't know.
Wrong. This is wrong.
Now, maybe it's meant to inspire their side to try harder, to fight harder, to protest more, to start feeling a fear that will again activate more and more people. We'll see.
Now, Trump will likely win Wisconsin if they remove Joe Biden, but Trump is not leading in Minnesota. That's within the margin of error. So also in Michigan, there are many states that are still up for grabs. And so this is designed, in my opinion, to get Trump supporters to take the foot off the gas. You look at this. Trump is up in every swing state by large margins, plus a few solid blue states, according to a single poll.
Right. Pay attention. This is why, in wokeness, I like your stuff. But as people that have a large reach, right, you have a responsibility to be as accurate as possible and never mislead anybody. And if you say that without including the fact of what he just said at the end, according to one poll, right, now you've given the complete story. It inspires a little bit more caution in buying into it, doesn't it? But still, you're there reporting it. Just report it. Just take the extra step and say, according to one poll, right? If that's what you want to discuss, don't leave it up for someone who just looks at it and goes, "Oh man, we're winning all over the place." So yeah, just let's all relax, or let's not pay attention anymore. Finally, I can just take my eyes off this politics. I'm so sick of politics. I mean, we all are. Honestly, we all are. Even someone like me, it's like I'm totally sick of having to keep my eye on it all the time, because you never know what's going to come next. I'm aspiring towards a more fair and honest system where this practice doesn't need to be so closely monitored.
I think it's pretty curious. No one is out there refuting this, because
welcome to my world.
There are new polls that come out. If you are a big data individual, you could look at RCP, Real Clear Polling, Real Clear Politics, to get an idea of the new polls that come out every week, which I'm going to show you, and I'm going to show you how things swing around wildly.
Okay, he's going to show us some good stuff. Angry, what's up? How you doing, buddy? You need to read the tweets that Wokeness replied to. Which ones? Which ones do I need to read? I'm not sure. The dude tweets a lot. He's got to look at this. Look at the numbers. Look at these numbers, man. How do you get these numbers on X? I put out 4 shows a week on X. I did. I mean, I think tonight was like one of the few I didn't put hashtags in. And I have 15 people or 17 or 12 people watching over on X. Thank you for watching on X. Thank you for watching on Rumble, free speech platforms. I really do appreciate it. Your support is means a lot. It means a lot because I'm very niche, man. I'm the base is the place. I don't buy into this conspiracy grist, but I do talk about true open conspiracies. I can provide a place for people who want to stay based and be anti-establishment. You know, that's what I do here. And I back it up. I back it up 4 times a week. And so thank you guys for being here. And if you really like this concept that you can be base and not be off the rails, please subscribe. Please give me a thumbs up. Please help spread the word about my channel. I don't, you know, they try to hold me down every chance they get. I'm saying not me personally, but me and a group of people like me. You know, I don't get to push. I'm not old school. It's these guys like Jeremy and Tim. They've been around longer. They got in under a lot of before a lot of the censorship and the segmentation happened that pushes us down into the unsuggested category. But I'll keep fighting. I'll keep fighting. And I got great people here on my chat, great people that come to every show. You need to come meet these folks, be part of it, subscribe to the channel, thumbs up. Thank you. Let's continue.
Responded to this and I said, this is a psyop to get this exact reaction. Nothing is over. It will still be near impossible to get Trump to win in November. Stay focused.
Thank you, Jeremy. That's good stuff from Jeremy, right? By the way, I mean, for someone who's not really all that political and, you know, it says, you know, I'm not part of any party either. I mean, I've never been beholden to any party. I've always been anti-establishment. So it kind of puts me in a different spot where I'm a strategy voter, and my strategy has been to unrig the game from the beginning.
Which is how I feel. Hodge twins also got picked it up. Don't trust their data. They want us complacent. We have to get the biggest turnout in history to win. And that's true.
Yes.
That's 100% true. Trump got how many million, you know, the most votes all time ever were cast in 2020. Trump got more votes in 2020 than he got in 2016, and it still wasn't
Gomez with some heat.
Okay. Yes, it's fun. You see the persistent Scott Presler. Huge shout out to the work on the ground that he's doing. Trump should break him off a couple milli for his operation for sure.
Damn.
My heart sings loudly, a tune for all to hear. Hear me clearly. High turnout helps Donald Trump. If you want to make this map a reality, then we need to get everyone registered to vote. Maine is in play. Minnesota is in play. Virginia is in play. Pennsylvania is in play. And to be fair, or to be
dude, and Georgia has been red except for last election. I mean, I really expected it to snap back this time.
To put that in perspective, if he wins Pennsylvania, it's over. I don't think Minnesota's in play, but Virginia and Maine, or Virginia certainly is in play. If he wins 2 of these, he wins the election. This is a lot of people are picking up. Don't get fooled into thinking it's in the bag. Get everyone and anyone registered into the polls. Leave no doubt every vote matters. 100%. Now, if we look at actual aggregate polling, okay, actual RCP aggregate polling, which is, again, just the reason the aggregate is only interesting to me is because it kind of bakes in a lot of these smaller polls and gives you an idea directionally. Okay. If we look at RCP, there's been, since the debate, there's been 2-3 new polls coming in. You had the CNN poll that ended on 6:30 that had Trump +6. Then you had the Yahoo News poll, which had Trump +2. But then you had Reuters and Ipsos having them even, right? Trump at CBS poll that ended on the 2nd, ending yesterday. Trump was +2. But all of this, in my opinion, is within the margin of Burr. Okay, this is all within the margin of like it's all in the margin of unless these polls are showing Trump +10, you should proceed as if it's Trump -10. There's no bad outcome from Trump winning by a lot. Okay, like that's what I want to point out to people. Yes, my mask of impartiality has slipped. Everyone knows I'm a Trump guy. All right. I'm not a Republican, but I am a Trump guy. And I want him to win. And I want him to win bigly. And he doesn't win bigly if people take their foot off the accelerator. And I want to give you just a perfect example. Remember the red wave? Remember, look at this. Now they say, oh, Kamala's going to be, this is all a psyop to me. They have Democrats creating a bunch of accounts and because they know people look at predict it. I bet you bots are manipulating this. There's no way that there's only a 31% chance that Joe Biden is the nominee. No way. It's at least 50%. Okay, so the idea that Gavin Newsom's even on this list is pure insanity. Michelle Mohap, Obama, complete insanity. Gretchen Whitmer, Hillary Clinton has already said she's not going to run. She's a zillion years old. Okay, so these polls are not kind of the be-all, end-all. And I remember the red wave that never happened. Just remember that, you know, and I think that people remember, oh, Trump, there's going to be a red wave. We're going to get something done in the Senate, in the House. Wrong. Never happened. Democrats won. Why? In my opinion, because everyone was talking about a red wave and then they stayed home. Go back to the 2016 election polls. One of the biggest, most revealing poll fails in history. Nate Silver's career destroyed. Most everybody. That's why I only look at aggregate polls. Yeah, when I live stream with Sticks, we'll talk about X, Y, and Z poll that happened and this, that, and the other. But for the most part, I just look at aggregate polls to get a directional idea, but I don't care that much about any one poll. Supporters of presidential candidate Hillary Clinton, I just want to remind you all, because I think this is important. Watch televised coverage of the U.S. presidential election at Capitol Hill and broke down in tears. The result of Tuesday's presidential election came as a surprise to nearly everyone who had following the national and state election polling. You know why it didn't surprise me? Because I never even looked at polls then. I just talked to people. And I knew what people, as Campbell would say, I was out here in them streets. Okay.
Out there in them streets.
And I knew that Trump had a chance. And so they said, you know, relying largely on opinion polls, election forecasters put Clinton's chance of winning anywhere from 70% to as high as 99%.
Again, you can't trust polls. You can't trust polls. I think Jeremy did a good job with this piece, for this part. But what I will say is that in this, he's also been out there kind of pushing the whole replace Biden thing. Like, if they wanted to replace Biden, what better way to do it than to have the other side push for it, right? And get people riled up and push the information out that way. They couldn't push down on their own side, so they get us to say it. They get us to bring it up. They get us to come harping on it. And then boom, right? But again, I still wonder about that. At the same time, though, they've managed to turn the conversation into whether or not he can. He's competent for the office, which we all know it doesn't really always matter to them, as long as it's not us, as long as it's not Trump. They're fine with it. And that they'll find all the excuses in the world for his, for his actions. Oh, he's an old man, but he's still there when it comes down to policy. He's still there pushing forward the agenda, right? So who cares? That we care about it more than they do. However, now pushing this narrative out, if they want to replace it, they can be like, they can totally turn around and blame it on us while they get their way. So, I mean, it's just like they can totally turn this into having us do it for them. And for the most part, instead of harping on the fact that he sniffs kids, harping on the fact that he did criminal acts as vice president, as president, harping on the fact that more wars, higher inflation, all the things that matter. Instead of focusing on that, we've been focusing on his gaffes, which is the lightest strike we could make, right? Yet we feel like it's all powerful for some reason. I don't understand that. It just seems like it's easy to manipulate our side when it comes to that kind of stuff, and we have to be careful of that. And we can't put out half information. We can't become them by putting out sound bites and just to juxtapose video clips and so on. We have to do better. We have to do better. All right. I wanted to let me see if there's any more in this I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, right here at the end. Let's go through this for a minute.
Lost. You know, it's like this, and if ever, you know, for example, if ever there's been a candidate that people maybe aren't going to talk about freely and openly about supporting, it's Donald Trump. That was a big part of it. But now that's become a Biden thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe.
All these
I don't
people
know.
voted for Joe Biden
Maybe.
in the primaries. All these people donated their hard-earned money to Joe Biden. All right.
They're
so
invested.
as far as I'm concerned, Joe Biden is running until he's not.
Right.
All this distraction about, oh, Joe's going to drop out. No, he's not.
See, we agree on that. He sees it too, man. Hey, Jacob Castro, what's up, buddy? How you doing? Good to see you.
I have not seen a single piece of actual evidence that anybody in the United States government will make the correct decision when it comes to their mental capacity and remove themselves from their position of power. Mitch McConnell was literally stroking out on TV.
Yeah, especially the power hungry.
Multiple times. Ruth Bader Ginsburg never stepped down. Obama begged her so that he could appoint a Democrat. Obama begged her. And all you feminists who love Ruth Bader Ginsburg and you have your Ruth Bader Ginsburg t-shirts, in the end, she betrayed you.
Yep.
In the end, she chose power over what was right. In the end, she chose to die on the job and let Donald Trump replace her with a Republican. That's what Ruth Bader Ginsburg, your hero, did. And I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican, expect the same behavior from all of them.
Yeah. I mean, once you put them in power, you got to deal with the fact you put them in power. Right. So what are the alternatives? If you can't get them to step down, if you can't get them to realize that they shouldn't be doing, or you can't get them to go along with the plan. If they wanted to replace Joe Biden, they should have done it a long time ago. That's what I've been saying. Ruth Bader Ginsburg also said Roe v. Wade was a bad decision, and it was. Even Roe said it was a bad decision. Roe walked it all back. I mean, people don't even realize that Roe came out against this decision. It's like, yeah, especially the ones that are bought into this is the God all in all things on life, right? That it equates all to all these things that it doesn't. That this one case is everything in the world. That's just a sad existence to me.
Don't get distracted. Get out there. Keep your foot on the accelerator. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you real soon.
Good job, Jeremy. That was a good one. For guys that, known as a political commentator. He did a great job on that. And he's pointing out what needs to be pointed out. And maybe that little bit of clarity does help. All right. So I'm debating here about how to do this. Where are we at? Okay. Oh, okay. We're going to jump ahead. Wow, it's funny. The one main video I got inspired to do this stream about, I don't think we're going to get to. Let me see. All right, let's check this out. Now, this is immediately following. This is a guy named, let me put this up. James King on the streets 2 days ago. 1 million views. James King, good job, buddy. All right, I'll give him that. On the streets, who do you think won the first presidential debate? Let's just kind of like absorb some of this for a little bit.
Yeah, I did.
Joe Biden won. Trump lied too many times.
I think
you hear that?
Biden was more truthful and on point.
Dude, the guy can't even freaking speak. How the is he running our country?
What's going on, everyone?
That guy's
James
mad.
here. Last Thursday was the first presidential debate between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. So who do Americans think won? Today we're in Orange County, California to find out. Let's go talk to some people.
All right.
Huge shout out to Traditions Meat Company for sponsoring this video.
Wow,
you watched the debate?
1 million views.
Who
Hell
won?
yeah.
It was really close. No, actually it wasn't. Trump killed him. Trump, 100%.
Yeah, who won?
Our next president.
Which one was that?
Donald J. Trump.
Donald Trump all day long. Trump. Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Who won? Are you asking me a real question? Who won?
So
it's
real.
obvious who won.
This is California, by the way.
Are you kidding me?
I don't think anyone won.
We all
I think we
lost.
all lost.
No one won.
Yeah, they're too old.
Who performed? Oh, I wish we
They're too old, but someone has to win, dude.
could find somebody older. But who performed the worst? Yeah.
Oh, hell no.
Joe Biden won. Trump lied too many times.
I think Biden was more.
Is that all that guy had to say? So there's one guy that bought into the narrative that the establishment pushed out.
More truthful and on point. It wasn't his best showing for sure.
Who performed worse?
See, more truthful. There you go. You're starting to hear the it said Trump lied, but no service members lost. Just fucked. Yeah, there's 13 in Afghanistan, 3 Jordan. Yeah, right.
Well, Trump, of course. Trump did? Yeah.
Trump won the performance by issuing this blizzard of lies. Trump
Look at this nipple rings that guy had in. Those are ridiculous. What the hell is the point of that?
was filled with continuous lies after lies after lies.
See, there you go, man. Look at this guy. He is all about the establishment narrative. So he's bought into it completely. So you can tell how much attention people are paying in this little this man on the street so far, right? This guy's just going to repeat the establishment narrative.
Lies. So given that, I would have to say Biden. Right. Although most people would say with Trump or neither.
Neither of them won.
Neither of them won.
They both.
Someone has to win the it's come out better. Someone who came out better. Orange County's pretty red, is it?
Look terrible.
We don't know, but our nation lost. If that's the best that both parties can do, we're in trouble.
Again, you see the narrow scoping of people's view of what's going on in politics in the world in this country right now, right? To think that it's the establishment versus the anti-establishment. So where are you left with if you can't decide on what side you're behind or what's going to be better for us, right? In the end, neither one of them. This is a guy who hates Trump, but is admitting to himself Joe had a bad debate.
So nobody won? Is that answer a cope, or what are we doing here?
How do you mean answer a cope of what? What do you mean by that?
If
He doesn't know what COPE is.
I were to guess, does that mean that we dislike Donald Trump? We weren't happy with Biden's performance.
Biden's performance was terrible. Is Trump the answer? Probably not.
Who did worse?
Okay.
See, they don't understand the peril that our country's in. They don't understand what's going down right now. This guy, if you ask him what Agenda 2030 is, he probably would be like, what? I don't know what that is. See, this is how clueless most Americans are about what's really going on. The nature of reality is, as I would say.
If it's going to be black or white, Biden did much worse. So,
but if you had to pick one,
yes,
Trump performed the worst. He's the worst. Yeah,
Yeah, this guy obviously, I don't know what his deal is, but I don't know how much of it do you think he really watched. Right? He's going to say Trump because it's popular, or because he's scared of what people may think, or maybe he's down with open borders. Who knows?
Didn't speak clearly. He looked old. He was mumbling.
He was mumbling.
For Trump.
He looks old. I don't know, man. That's a hard question. I mean, they both, had good points, but Joe Biden's way too old, man.
That was the takeaway?
Yeah, he's way too old, man. I mean, we saw the video, he kept malfunctioning every 5 seconds.
I think Biden actually just lost.
See, I would like to ask that guy right there if he had seen a lot of the clips that were out there about Joe Biden's decrepit state, out on the internet. What kind of things have you seen about that before? I mean, did you realize that he was in that kind of state of mind? Or I would like to dig into that a little bit more.
He came out there, his mouth was open. He looked like he was dead from the start.
I personally think Trump won, only because I think he has the most logical answers to some of the questions, where I'm not so sure about the answers from the other guy.
President Biden wants to keep democracy. Trump's a threat to democracy.
If you ever want to listen to someone just spout the establishment narrative, this guy right here, right? This guy right here is just a parrot. He's a parrot.
Why did Trump win?
I didn't really understand what Biden was saying.
That's the youth
it was
right
just
there, right?
one person was coherent, had thoughts, clear message. The other person could barely put 2 words together. He's basically.
So it makes you wonder, right? Why do we need to keep harping on the fact that he's got problems? Average people that watched the debate could tell that he was in a bad state. Keep it that he was in a bad state, right? So let the truth prevail. No need to ever step into the world of deceit, because the truth will prevail. I understand that we feel desperate. I understand that we feel like we have to do more. I understand that we realize that they do the same thing. Maybe some people are more fight fire with fire.
basically not there pretty much most of the time.
It is very, very evident that our president right now needs to get out of freaking office today. Period. End. He showed us on television that he has dementia.
This guy's panicking because he doesn't want Trump, but he's furious that they've let Biden get to this point. Seems like to me.
We can't have that. We used to be the number one in the world. Number one. The United States is always number one.
Yes.
Guess what? We're number two now. You know why? Because what? Russia gets up there and they say, we're going to bomb. And he says, we're going to threaten you with sanctions. Bullshit. If Trump was in the office, now I'm not a Trumper, by the way. Don't mistake me for a Trumper.
Oh, really? Really? I couldn't tell.
But if we had somebody in our office that was somewhat of a
this guy doesn't, again, he's all worked up. He's fully energized. And he doesn't even understand the establishment was all for that war and all behind that war. And that the money laundering going on with that war, all this money, our money that's going over to them. He's not outraged about that. He just thinks that they didn't do the right thing when they were supposed to do it. They were never going to do the right thing, buddy. Never. I'm sure I'd never be able to convince you of that.
Of somebody that stood for the people and stood for the United States, none of this would have ever happened. He wouldn't have.
Well, that's Donald Trump, but you've been programmed to hate that side, and just you've been programmed to view him a certain way. So that's why you don't see the clear picture.
Had enough balls to jump in.
Now, Biden took the week off to prepare for that debate. It was his rules that he set place for the debate. Does that disappoint you that he underperformed when it came to his rules and taking a week off from work to prepare?
Well, I think everybody who saw it were disappointed that he wasn't on point. Now, if you got a cold and you're raspy, and I mean, I don't know what you can do about that. I mean, that was part of it. That was just a cold. You think it maybe that's why it was kind of he underperformed was because he had a cold? Well, I think part of that was
even athletes have a bad day.
Right.
Give him a break.
Why do you think the underperformance?
He says this guy is just he turned into MSNBC and CNN and just got the talking points, and that's all he's reporting. Angry says winning. I wonder if they could show me in the founding documents where we are a democracy. We're a representative democracy. I can show them where the federal government gives Republican form of government to the states. Right? It's a representative democracy is what we are. Representative. I mean, we represent the people, the will of the people elects representatives that then go speak on behalf of the will of the people, and at the government level. That's what we're supposed to be. The word democracy has been bastardized. It's been run through the ground. It's been misused. It's been everything in the world. I hate hearing it as much as the next person, as much as Ellie hates it. I hate hearing it too, but I've learned how to interpret who's talking about it and who they're talking for. When this guy talks about democracy, I automatically know he's talking about establishment democracy, which means they are the people. They make the decisions for the people, not the people informing them which decisions to make. The establishment is authoritarian. Therefore, they see it in reverse. So when they talk about Trump is a threat to democracy, it's a threat to their power, is what they're saying. They'll co-opt words, they'll change languages, they'll do everything to manipulate you, including, like I said, change the definitions of words, misuse them, and then repeat it ad nauseum until people like simpletons like these guys don't even realize that they've had the meaning of the word changed, and they're using it freely.
Performance when it comes to the energy.
I mean, look at this. Why did this guy have nipple rings on? This is so stupid. I think we know why these guys are like this, don't we?
During his debate.
I think he was on cold drugs. Yeah. I'm an old man myself.
Cold medicine?
Yeah. He had a cold.
See, they're making excuses, man. Most people don't understand how their state government works, and they are completely clueless how the federal government works, or rather how it's supposed to work. Yeah, and they're very easily manipulated as a result, right? And that's what the establishment knows. That's what they know about their people. That's that when they were giving out those talking points, it was for these guys right here, right? They're sitting there soaking it in, going, "Oh hell yeah, I love this stuff," right? And then when the excuses came out, they're like, "Okay, we got the cover story. So now we got a chance to go out there and say it. We're gonna say it, then go to our local gay bar. There you go. All right."
Cold. He was coming out. He was sick.
You guys, let's take a few moments for part 2 of Cooking with Clue, brought to you by Traditions Meat Company.
Hold on.
And whether you live in Texas at their cost.
They're fighting about this golf thing. Who the cares about golf? We're the people here, man. We want to know who's going to be capable of running the United States.
They were talking about golf for 5 straight minutes. I thought that was kind of embarrassing.
What was your least favorite part?
Golf.
The two guys arguing about who had a better golf handicap.
Who do you think would win, though?
I don't know.
In golf?
Trump.
I don't care.
Would you want them to play golf against each other, though?
That'd be kind of sick, yeah.
That'd be kind of sick.
I think the issue comes when Biden has to answer things off the cuff and on the run, if you like, is the difficulty for him if he's not being prompted with the correct answers. Where I think Trump probably still has that intelligence to be able to answer the question correctly. Hopefully his party behind him can do the job. But from Australia, we see a different angle too. But I want to see somebody in that's going to make a difference for you guys.
I think that our governor, Gavin Newsom, should step up.
Oh, buy that narrative. You think Gavin Newsom on a second recall, one of the worst governors in the country, to step up? This guy is hardcore establishment. Yeah, it's because he didn't have enough information. You can tell he has the passion. He feels like things are going bad. He just doesn't know why. So he's been given the answers, and he's been given the direction to be in. He's boxed in because, God forbid, he dare step away from what he's used to, dare step away from that programming, right? God forbid. But you tell him, he thinks he knows everything, right? He's going to get aggressive with you. He probably start calling you names, probably run off and clench his fist and get on, gnash his teeth and all that shit, right? Do you think he'd rather know the truth or be right? Right. It's why they sabotage the education system, keep people ignorant, and they are easily manipulated. Exactly, Memento. Exactly. Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Winnie, have you seen the video of the CNN person saying that Biden knew the questions? Yeah, that's no surprise. They do that all the time. They always give the establishment the questions ahead of time.
I think he should step up.
You think he would do a better job than Trump?
It doesn't matter whether Newsom? He do a better job than Trump or not. He'd do a better job than Biden. And Biden is Democrat, and so is he.
Democrats are obviously desperate to have somebody at the front wheel, but he's not the proper man to do it.
Right. Did you come to that conclusion after the debate, or did you see that cognitive decline throughout his presidency?
Oh, throughout his presidency, man. And
Good question.
obviously, they kept saying there's nothing wrong with him. It's all just a farce or whatever. But no, it's been obvious all throughout his presidency that this man's not doing well.
You could see it happening for a long time, and it's a shame. It's a shame that in politics, whether it's in the UK or in the US, we do not have the caliber of people that we need right now to lead our countries forward.
Our countries, he said countries forward. This guy is obviously from another country. At least at one point he was. But he doesn't understand American politics, obviously, or world politics. But he's sitting there on the bench enjoying a snack. So
real shame.
Everybody could see he's incompetent, and everybody could see he should be out of office. So period, end of discussion. Why he's still there?
He thinks that Biden's making the decisions. That's elderly abuse. They made him think that. They made this poor man think that. Yeah, that he's not being puppeted from beginning to end.
The power of politics. That's why.
Obviously, the debates on CNN. CNN spent an hour ragging against his performance. So Democrats were obviously very unhappy with that. Do you guys think that they're going to try to go with somebody else, or are they going to commit? Are we committing to Biden?
The choice is that we can't unless Biden steps down. It's his choice, so we don't have much choice. And
would you support a Newsom hopping in or something, or no?
I would.
You would. How about you?
I don't know. That's a tricky little game because that's just dividing votes if somebody else jumps in. I will vote for whoever's on the Democratic ticket because
there you go, guys. You hear that?
the alternative scares
anybody
me.
but Trump.
Yeah. Oh, that woman just summed it up.
I will vote for whoever's on the Democratic ticket because the alternative scares me.
But Trump.
See, both of these people completely brainwashed by the establishment, that they don't even realize that they are supporting their own demise. You should be scared of who you're supporting. Anybody on the Democratic ticket, they're so great. No, these people, these are the fart sniffers. Yep.
So two Democrats here though that are saying T-Dog won the debate.
Yeah.
I didn't say that.
She did say that.
Yes, you can't, because God forbid anybody might see this. This is so awesome. There's so many records out there with your family. Oh, okay, sorry. I thought that was something else.
When it comes to the Democrats, do you think the Democrats are going to be sticking with Joe Biden?
I hope not, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's who they stick with. And I personally feel that a couple of years down the line, whether it's a year or 2 years, Joe Biden's going to drop out of the presidency, and it's going to be Kamala at the front.
This guy's bought in. He's bought in.
Front wheel, which that's not going to be much better.
What do you think? Honest opinion.
He knows it sucks, but he can't bring himself to just open his mind and look outside the box and say, well, why does my side suck so bad? Why does my side suck? Why do they suck so bad? but it's the only side I could possibly ever see myself going with. That's the box. It's the narrow little box of the first veil. We're looking at a lot of first veil folks right here. Most people, a lot of people are. I recently spent 3 weeks in California. Anyone who thinks Newsom is a good choice should go out there and see the disaster that he is. Yeah, they're not going to bring that up, are they? They're going to be like, he needs to do it because, because of Trump, right? Because they got that archetype burned in their brain that Trump is some kind of bad guy who's a threat to democracy. They don't understand that when they say threat to democracy, they mean threat to the establishment's power to dictate the world culture and law and policy to everybody from top down. Right? They think that they have power with the Democrats, and they don't. That's the illusion they're under.
No. I think it's either Greasy Gavin or
because that guy.
They'll try to push Kamala out there.
They'll try to get somebody else, but it's too late for them. It's they're stuck with him.
I think they're ultimately going to be doing a bait and switch later.
I think they have to go with somebody else if they have any chance of winning. I mean, right now Trump won. Like he won the election right now.
I think CNN and other pundits who are on the Democratic side who are talking about replacing Biden are wrong, and they're doing.
So look, even their own media sources, they're like, no. They're like, no. Those in California who still praise Democrats are walking around their eyes wide shut. Yes, they are. Winning. I was just saying that you can learn a lot about history through your genealogy, and it makes you appreciate your family that went before you. Oh, absolutely. I agree.
Bad for the Democratic Party and bad for Biden.
Do you think that Democrats are going to actually be sticking with Joe Biden this year?
That's a silly question. If you saw what I just saw on this debate, that's a silly question.
No, it's a silly question to you, right? I don't think this guy knows enough about the process, like some of the other people do, to understand what switching him now means.
You just go rewatch the debate.
He wants Newsom is the thing,
and then you ask that question to anybody, Democrat, Republican, Independent. I don't care. You show them that, and you show them the man that's running our government.
He's mad.
He should be out of here. He should have been out of here yesterday.
People that were speaking.
He should have been out of here in 2020, pal.
In fact, the media as well said that he kind of came off as being more senile, and that's why a lot of people were very critical. People that are apolitical, that was their takeaway. What would you say to those people that are saying that Biden appeared to be senile?
Well, those people don't know what senile means. He didn't exhibit signs of being a senility. He showed signs of forgetfulness.
Okay, so I mean, I'll be totally honest. You're a Democrat?
Oh, hell, well, I'm a Republican now. That's right.
But you were a Democrat.
For 20 years. But how can I be a Democrat and see this and watch what's happening?
I don't even know if I want to vote.
So did he just say he's going to flip? All right. Welcome aboard, angry dude. I like your passion, man. We'll get you straight. We'll get you straight. We'll get you straight. Come to the channel. Come hang out with us, angry dude in flowered shirt. We'll get you straight, man. We'll help you out. We'll put that passion to work on towards the right things, towards a better future. I bet you he would dig some of the stuff we say.
In this election, dude. I think RFK is a little interesting, but I think it's not going to work out, unfortunately. Independents have never had a good chance at the presidency. It's always been the two-party system, and the two-party system is way too corrupt at this point, man. Like our founding fathers didn't even approve of this, and we need a new system in terms of politics.
When it comes to a couple of lies that Donald Trump told, what were a couple of the biggest lies that you thought that Donald Trump told?
Well, about the economy, his record, as in when he was in office, was nowhere near as good as what he touted it to be. Actually, right now, Biden's created a significant amount of jobs. Inflation has cooled down, and I do expect the Fed to cut rates in September.
Based on what?
Everything else around Biden's been great. His performance for the nation has been great.
Dude, is that vodka or ice water?
His economic
yeah, it looks like ice water.
Recovery post-pandemic is great.
Seems
better
like
than
vodka.
most presidents have done in ages.
Name anything, and he'll start naming off things that aren't actually good, like the Paris Climate Accords. Oh yeah, the biggest ripoff going. Yeah, he signed us up for that. Cost us billions of dollars for nothing. Yeah. What else? Oh well, he started the Ukraine one. They say started and enabled it, funds it, takes billions of our dollars and gives it to them for what?
And people aren't seeing that because of social media, I think, really has skewed things.
That topic, though. I mean, inflation's kicking people's butts. Real wages are down in the country.
Inflation is down. Unemployment
Inflation's down, really?
is the best it's been.
Well,
There's
Employment is the best it's been. He's just did again. This is the mind control of the establishment media. This guy personifies it. Both these guys do.
It's down compared to like last year where it was at.
See,
there's disinformation that's
Inflation.
no, it's going down. All the numbers are down.
That's year over year numbers that you guys are looking at. So it's still up.
No, it's better than when Trump was in office.
no, it's not.
Yes.
A lot of people look at Donald Trump as actually being known
No,
for his good economy.
Does anybody ever heard that inflation is better than when Trump was in office? I don't think so. I mean, you can just look at the prices you're paying for things and understand that, right? Crawl back under your rock, dude. Yeah, they warned us against the perils of a two-party system, but then they turned it into a two-party system. Yeah, you know, I meant to cover the European system. Man, all that shit is like it's not any better. You know what happens when you have a bunch of parties? They end up forming coalitions, and then you have a big party full of little parties. Talk about chaos. Is that better? I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that two-party system's great or anything like that, but it seems like it always kind of comes down to that, doesn't it? The duality of things. I don't know that we've come up with a better system yet. But it's obviously if you have establishment in both parties and you're running the world that way, like the one we were born into, that until Trump actually won the nomination, we were dealing with. Till Ron Paul exposed it, and then Trump won the nomination. Ron Paul exposed it to the left-right, the false left-right paradigm. Those were what his days were about. That's what his efforts were about. That and restoring the flame of liberty, and helping people relearn the philosophy of liberty. And just see what a really truly honest candidate looks like someone who's going to be an honest leader would look like. Unfortunately, his job was just to educate and further the cause. And then Trump came along and kicked the door down and kicked the neocons and sent them running. Right? Either you side with us or you get the hell out. And we're still trying to flush out the remaining rhinos from our midst. It's not a one-term thing. If he had done two back-to-back terms, it might have cleaned it out faster. We'll see. That's why we need to have another 4 years of Trump to see what would happen, right? I expect the interest rates to drop post January 20th because I'm sure the first thing Trump will do is fire Jerome Powell, which I'm not sure if that's great for long-term economics, but until then, interest rates aren't moving, judging by all the signals from the Fed. Yeah. I would support banning listing political parties on ballots. Yeah, that would actually inspire a lot of people to have to go learn what their candidates stand for. And technically, other parties can be formed, but they really don't have much of a chance, at least for now. Yeah, they don't. I mean, Libertarian Party is the strongest third party out there, and it doesn't have a chance. Castro, I've been saying that for a while. Yep. Instead of being media people, just need to look up the prices of groceries, APRs on loans, etc. That will show you what's going on. Yeah, but they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. They're going to go by what CNN and MSNBC tell them.
Economy 2017, 2018, 2019, people were very happy with that. That's what when I talk to people on the street, that would be their primary focus. Now, of course, COVID and lockdowns affected that, but that kind of goes without saying, right? Are you talking about during, like, after he left office versus before? Because a lot of people look at like 2019 being like, hey, my dollar went further than it does now.
Yeah, well, inflation was not a factor during that
Welcome
time.
back.
I'd say the economy, when he left office and what Biden inherited and what Biden did to help the economy, I mean, his administration has created more jobs in the time he's been in office than any other president. And so I would say...
Is that are you including the jobs that came back after the lockdowns or no?
Well, I guess that's part of it, but, it's job creation. I mean...
it seems a little bit loose right there.
You're right.
And then what happens? Me being a taxpayer, I spend a ton of money on taxes, and I'm seeing billions of dollars going to Ukraine.
Welcome home. This guy, dude, this is the guy. This is a recruitable dude. This is somebody that can actually. He's furious. He sees the truth. He doesn't understand it yet, but he sees it, and he's like, you know what? Screw you. I love this angry guy. Yeah, right. He's winning this over. He didn't sound too good at first, but now, like, the more I get to know him, the more I like him. He would get along great with us. He would get along great with us, and he would feel like he's doing something too. He'd feel like he's got his hand on the wheel again, and that he understands the world better. There are people out there that can, and this, he's having his moment of clarity, is what it is. This dude is talking himself into being anti. Yes, he is. He is. He's got the potential, man. There are people out there that, like I said, let's pray and hope for a moment of clarity to come off this debate, where people like him would have reached their point, suddenly be shocked awake like that. That's how that works. Now he's on the track. Now he's on track. The more he'll get into Trump now, the more he'll get into this side of things. That's why we can't. This is the kind of guy that, I worry about scaring off with the conspiracy grifts that exist in our realm, and the shortcuts that some people are taking to just try to get a shot in at Biden. That's why we don't need to do that. You see, the truth will work, and this guy is a perfect example of that. It just, it might not be on our schedule, but everybody has to walk that path to enlightenment on their own. And when it happens, it happens. Look, he's probably older than a lot of people here, and he's just figuring it out now, right? But he'll be a powerful voice once he does.
I'm a little pissed off because, one, we sent them some money, and then we sent them more and more and more, and we're talking billions. A guy like me who's retired, I could live off of $2 million for the rest of my life, and we're sending them billions of money that
Based. This guy's based.
I invested in my United States. I call bullshit.
On CNN, they were talking about
There
how
you go,
Biden was
man.
talking about how illegal crossings at the southern border was even lower than Donald Trump's.
It was. Republicans should not dare use immigration at this point after what happened with Trump in Congress shutting down that bill. That was
Yeah. Again, sound bites and headlines, right? This guy said, "Oh, well, after Trump's not an office guy, all right." Secondly, they shut down that bill. He didn't even know what's in the bill. Let's see if this guy calls him on it.
sin. Yeah, that was
lie and manipulation.
He's an unelected civilian, and he's meddling with our Congress. So isn't that a crime somewhere? Like this.
How's he doing that? Isn't that a crime somewhere? What do you think you're doing? I mean, what do you think the people do? Not manipulating Congress, or telling them, well, okay, it was two different things here. So he's definitely confused in a lot of ways. But one, the people have a voice. If he's part of the people, he has a voice, right? And the elected officials are supposed to hear that voice and act upon that voice, not their own, right? Not their own agendas. That's the way it's supposed to work, right? Two, he's never read the bill. He didn't know what that bill had in it. He didn't know that bill was all fluff and gives amnesty every day to 5,000 people. 5,000 people a day. That's ridiculous. It's called a slow cook amnesty bill, and which we stand against on this side. So why would we prove that? Why would we say that's a good thing? We don't no amnesty. No.
If I'm going to play devil's advocate there, there's estimated about 8 million people that entered the country illegally before that bill that you're referring to. What's the reason for the 8 million before?
It happened under Trump too. It's been happening for years.
Okay, so now what they do is they push it back on Trump, right? They're pushing it back on him. They can never take accountability and responsibility for their side and what they do.
What kind of gang warfare is going on in Honduras, in Guatemala, and Nicaragua?
Okay, now this is called throwing out straw mans. So they're throwing out straw mans right here.
That's often what's driving this movement of immigrants to our border.
No, the UN is doing it. They have people down there helping people. They're handing out maps and supplies. They're coordinating with the drug cartels for border entry. This guy needs to go and listen and watch my show on the deep dive on the U.S. southern border invasion, right? With featuring the Muckraker documentary, right? That takes the walk from Panama to the border and exposes all the operations that are in place there and how many different people are coming through. He's like, Honduras, Nicaragua. Yeah, did you see how many Chinese were coming through our border? Did you see how many other people were coming through our border from different parts of the world? They don't care. They don't care. They've been programmed to think when the Democrats talk about the border, they got it under control. When Trump talks about the border, it's somehow racist.
So I don't know. You can gin it up and make it as scary as the Republicans seem to love to make it into a big scary.
Man, you know, the sweetest irony would be if these two guys walk off and they get jumped by some illegals and get seriously hurt. I mean, I wouldn't want that for them, but it would certainly teach them to open their damn eyes.
Everything that the rapist.
Take them out of their lap.
Trump's a rapist.
What are your guys' thoughts about people that are saying that?
Oh, what? See, again, completely programmed. That's completely programmed by the establishment. They're beyond help. They're not like the flowered shirt guy. They have no fire. They're submissive. Well, of course they're submissive. Look at them. They're totally submissive. They're totally trendy, and they're just completely parroting the establishment narrative from start to finish. No winning. They have been programmed to not think, only obey. Yeah, I agree.
That Biden won the debate. I think they didn't watch the debate. I think they didn't watch it. You know, Trump obviously a little overzealous and bombastic sometimes, but Biden obviously, nothing's going the way it should be going right now. Inflation, the economy, the border, and I think just obviously the choice is pretty clear at this point. You think he should do another debate with Trump?
I would like to see that, but I don't know if Trump will go for that.
Oh my God. I think they're on something. All right. Our newest member. Here we go.
I've watched the debate twice, and I wholeheartedly agree. I think it's very scary. Now, my question for you is that guy actually running the country? Is he in charge?
And again, another silly question. The guy can't even freaking speak. How the is he running our country?
Welcome to the club, guy. Welcome to the club. That's it. All right. All right. So I did want to hit this last video. I can't skip it. So we'll just go a little bit longer than I planned.
The story from.
Okay. And I think maybe this will wrap it all up, or it'll be severely out of order. We'll see. Okay. All right.
Semaphore, where the media is.
This is just him by himself this time, but he does go for 20 minutes. So it's sped up a little bit, right? Yeah. Okay. So it won't be that long. And then after this, we're going to go to Joe. All right. So hang tight. Let's do some more analysis here. And let's get into
the story from Semaphore, where the media is claiming that the White House perpetrated a grand cover-up. I kid you not. Let me show you the tweet actually from
hilarious.
Where did I put that stupid tweet?
Like all the establishment media are like playing like we didn't know. They've a grand cover-up, right? That Joe Biden's health was in worse shape than it's in. That's basically what he's saying.
There we go. Alex Thompson. And then I'll pull up the Jill Abramson newsletter. He says, Jill Abramson to Semaphore Ben, quote, the Biden White House clearly succeeded in a massive cover-up of the degree of the president's feebleness and his serious physical decline. If you believe this, I have got a bridge to sell you. In fact, I have a collection. How about a dozen? We'll throw in an extra one if you buy 12. This is one of the most amazing things ever. Take a look at this from Glenn Greenwald, who really summarizes this beautifully. CNN admits something unbelievably embarrassing. Many in media failed to report more on Biden's cognitive issues because they feared blowback from the White House and Democrats, or worse, quote, age stories angered the White House and the liberal Twitter sphere the most. That's your media, ladies and gentlemen. But I'd like to give you the view from Jill Abramson. Wonderful. Semaphore doing the hard-hitting journalism that no one asked for. She writes, it's clear the best news reporters in Washington have failed in the first duty of journalism, to hold power accountable. It is our duty to poke through White House smokescreens and find the truth. The Biden White House clearly succeeded in a massive cover-up. No, they didn't. Dude, every single one of us knew this guy's brain was jello. These people are special. And I mean that in a literal sense. They're very special. The Biden White House clearly succeeded in a massive cover-up of the degree of the president's feebleness.
Hey, FYI, Joe is not starting until a little bit later tonight, so we're not missing anything.
And his serious physical decline, which may be simply the result of old age. Shame on the White House press corps for not to have pierced the veil of secret. I can't do it. Not to have pierced the veil of secrecy surrounding the president. The dude was accused of pooping his pants on D-Day. Okay.
Accused. By who? By you. Tim? By you. You accused him of that. You did. Several other people did who just took a clip. And Viva Fry, we went through this. Viva Fry completely debunked this. He did such a good job. I didn't even bother doing it. I just replayed his, right? But he did a great job. And I kind of took his take on it and added to it. But he did a great job, and he wasn't scared to stand up and say something. Right now, his take on the freeze up, I could have a debate with him about. Man, I just need to talk to these people. Like I really, you know, he needs a dissenting voice, and you know, to someone on his level intellectually that can push back against some of the stuff that he's got a bunch of yes people around him is his problem. And then when he does have opposition on, it's like way far left. He needs somebody on his side that'll keep him in check, honestly. But whatever. Whatever. All right. So yeah.
There's a reason for that. And the media was like, that's a cheap fake. They're making that up. I love this.
Do you love it? Let's
Because
talk.
people are like, Tim, watch the full video. He clearly didn't poop his pants. I'm not saying he pooped his pants.
You did, but you did. Yes, you did. Where's I took a screenshot of it. I showed it. I showed the tweet you put out that said exactly that. Again, integrity. You have to be one of the largest voices out there. You're going to be pinned to everybody else that talks, you know, on this side, one way or another. And you just deny what you actually did. You basically just lied. I mean, maybe you mistakenly thought it. Maybe in your head you thought that you didn't mean it that way, and that's what it meant. And that everybody should know that you were just kidding. That it was just a meme. You don't meme about shit like this. Like, again, we have to be better than what we were trying to replace. We cannot go back to the way things were or just fall into their habits. They're just training us to be them, and then we're going to be easily controlled. Yes, you sure did. You did it. Alex Jones did it. And all the rest of you, Bidding Johnson, kind of suggested it a little bit. He acted like he didn't know what he was seeing. That was kind of a cop out. You guys are the journalists. I'm the media analyst here. You guys are the journalists. You call yourself journalists, right? You're the one with the responsibility to do the granular level vetting of your information. Like, you question to the void, know everything that you're saying, talking about, and don't let any piece of it be left out, or you're no better than what you fight. I just can't watch Tim Pool. He and his crew go off on tangents and they walk all over each other. Yeah, that's part of the chaos that's going on there. Right. And then he comes out with some quippy little thing like, why won't you believe Michelle Obama is going to run for president, even though she says she's not going to? Because there's no indication other than in any way, shape, or form that would lead anyone to believe that, other than people like you bringing it up. Again, how easy would it be to manipulate Tim Pool? Just give him a little headline and he'll go off. You know what triggers him. You know what he's looking for. Like, he's not going to be that hard to control when you need to. I'm not saying that he's part of it. I'm saying that you can do this from the shadows and he'll never know it's happening, because he doesn't even remember his tweet about Joe Biden pooped himself. He didn't. He just got a little anxious because he wanted to sit down. But you know, we have to keep on him. He has the largest voice. I can't just I don't watch the show. I watch this news takes, right? I can't sit through the IRL. It's just, again, yeah, it's the people he surrounds himself with for the most part. And then, you know, there's the Ian factor. And Ian seems like he's getting a little better. At least he trimmed the mustache up. But man, it's like, you know, so many other people could be filling that seat, and you go with that, and you know what you're doing. Anyway, let's continue.
I'm not saying he did. I'm saying there is more evidence that Joe Biden pooped his pants than there is that the Hunter Biden laptop was a Russian disinformation scheme.
Anybody believe that? He's saying there's more evidence. There's not more evidence. There's more fabricated optics that happen. There's more speculation that happened. I'd kill him on this. I'd absolutely kill him on this. He would have to backpedal on everything. His points are these are very soft, laid out points, and they're very, you know, like I said, it's speculation. No, there's not evidence that happened. There's mass speculation. And if you think speculation is evidence, Tim, we got a problem. You got a problem. You need to step back and do something else. Go play guitar and skateboard, because you're letting people down. You're misleading people, right? You're becoming what you fight.
And if the media wants to run full speed ahead, like bulls stampeding, and say 51 officials claimed this has all the hallmarks of Russian disinformation, I go,
yeah, we expect that from them. We expect them to lie. We expect them to mislead, to subvert. That's what they do. That's exactly what they do. So yeah, we understand their game. Now you're trying to compare our side to theirs. They're trying to line us up evenly. We're not even. They are subversion and propaganda, right? We're supposed to be representing the truth and trying to change things for the better. Get on board, dude. I thought you were all about the culture war. Let's go. Yeah, I'm going to lay into him a little bit here tonight. I mean, it doesn't mean, again, it doesn't mean I don't support him or dislike him. It just means that he needs to get his shit together.
Go, whoa. And Biden poop his pants. Because you have literally no evidence the Hunter Biden laptop story was Russian disinformation.
Yet there's been story after story after story that's come out. The FBI has verified it since then. This is an old narrative. 51. No, we all know it's real. It's already been debunked. What the fuck are you talking about?
I got a video of Joe Biden doing his weird squat thing.
Oh yeah, you got it. You got a video clip, right? That you've taken out of contents doing a weird squat thing. In other words, trying to sit down sooner than he was supposed to sit down, right?
Now, I don't know that he actually pooped his pants.
You see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? Now, I don't know if he actually did it. I just came out and tweeted and said he did, right? Then I said he's doing this weird squat thing. I'm juxtaposing it in every way possible to make you think that I think that, and now I'm going to tell you that I don't. This guy, let's see, how many views? 1.26 million subscribers. I thought he had more. 9 hours, 100,000 views. Man, what I wouldn't do for that reach. I mean, I know, excuse me. It would be nice to have that reach. Not what I wouldn't do for that reach. I don't know. No. I did not say that right. It would be nice to have that reach. I think what I meant to say was what I would do with that reach. The good I could do with that reach. Right? Not misleading people. That's not juxtaposing video clips to, I mean, if it's a meme, it's a meme. I've said this over and over again. Make it a joke. It's funny. Cool. Yeah. Let's do it. I can think of a lot of funny memes, right? But when you have such a large voice, right? And you're representing this side in a lot of ways, whether you like it or not. If you don't like it, step down. I mean, Alex Jones had to deal with it too. I mean, other people had to deal with that, the representation of the new media as being because you have the subscribers, because you have the success. You've earned it. You've wanted it. That's what you went for. You get the money as a result of that, right? You're living large and well as a result of this. You have a responsibility, and there is accountability in your position. Sorry if you don't like it. Go skateboard and play guitar.
I think there's a strong probability he did not. Some people have said to him, he was just trying to sit down. And I'm like, okay, so he forgot where he was. He was at a ceremony.
You're just trying to be right, Tim. Yeah, he was just trying to sit down too soon. Yes, you can say that's, if you're perfect about everything, let me know. But I'm not trying to defend that monster known as Biden. I'm not trying to defend him. But you're putting me in a position to do that, aren't you? This is what happened to you with Trump, isn't it? Like, you found yourself in a position defending the truth because your side was being full of shit. We were talking about like, what was the one thing he was really running on? It was the WikiLeaks. That was H.A. Goodman. But he's like, people will eventually have to start defending the truth, and you'll find the truth is on Donald Trump's side. That's kind of what happens, right? And you're like, well, no, we don't want our side to be untruthful, but your side was already untruthful to begin with. You just didn't realize it. And then when you started defending the truth, you found yourself outside of your old side because they don't believe in the truth. They believe in being right instead, and being right about being wrong, essentially. They don't care if they're wrong. They don't, as long as they get the results they want.
Where everyone was standing and he was trying to sit down. I'm like, yeah, and then Jill Biden mutters like, stand up, don't sit down.
Yeah. Because she's watching his back. She's handling the senile man. Okay? That doesn't mean he crapped his pants, Tim. Tim doesn't need to be careful. Alex Jones learned the hard lesson. Yeah, dude. How many times have I made that comparison? Yeah, exactly. It could happen to Tim. The nail that stands the highest gets hammered the hardest. Exactly. Discredit. Hammer him down. Yeah, and he's in that position, isn't he? He's in that position, and he's got a loose organization going on with people that don't have the full picture or understand what they're up against. Right? They just think, oh, we're just It's the evolution of journalism, and we're just all here, and blah blah blah. And we're doing this. It's happening. No, they know what you're gonna do. You don't think? I mean, again, they don't give the establishment enough credit in terms of the information war. They have no idea that these people have spent the amount of time they've spent, the decades they've spent crafting exactly what we're using right now. Everything. That they don't control the narratives on our side through different means at times. We always have to be, and the people that get it won't ever be heard, but people that fall for it evidently get elevated. So maybe I should start falling for it and watch my channel explode. I like doing this. I think about doing this kind of experiments, but I'm like, well, that would violate my integrity. So there's no way I can do that. There's no way I can do that. Sorry if I started speaking fast there. My energy drink kicked in. I gotta remember to slow down a little bit. I get excited and start talking fast. Right.
Okay, so he's forgotten where he was. I'll take that too. Some people
take it.
People have said, well, he was trying to put papers on the ground. Why?
What? I never heard that. I never heard that paper. Okay, whatever. That's a weak point.
Why would he be putting papers on the ground?
Exactly. But I never heard that. Did anybody else hear that he was trying to put papers on the ground? If you did hear that, let me know in the chat right now. Let me know if you heard that. Because I didn't hear it. So where'd you pull that out? He tried to sit down too soon, and his wife stopped him because he thought, oh, I want to sit down. He's old. I mean, come on. Yeah, no, never heard that one. Never heard that one. Right.
Okay, so your argument is the dude couldn't put paper on the ground? I don't care which one you pick. Either way, it shows the dude's brain is fried. And
the dude, I don't think so. I mean, I'm not saying that it's not. I'm not saying that it's not. But it doesn't necessarily mean that. And that's not necessarily what we need to focus on. We're not the Democrat Party. Right? We're not trying to help them, Tim. We want them to run the worst candidate. And then after he gets the nomination, hit him with it. Hit him with the he's not fit to serve. I said this before at the beginning of 2024. The time to hit the Biden's too old and the senile and all that stuff is after the nomination. So they can't replace him with a stronger candidate. How did I see this a year ago? And you still can't see it today. Real quick. Something very important just came up.
Oh my!
Zach, thank you for the $2 super chat. I appreciate your support. It's 9:42 Central Time. Do you know where your super chat is? It's right there. And thank you so much for that. I appreciate it, Zach. Thank you. All right, let's continue.
And the idea that video, certainly not the only one, exists, and we had to dismiss it because there was some veil of secrecy keeping the media from realizing what was going on, is the most laughably insane thing I have ever heard.
Okay, that was a great little show here, and I'm glad you're getting off on doing this, right? But this is them playing. And what did Wolfram said it earlier? Thank you for that, and thank you for supporting me on both channels, on both platforms. Ellie, I appreciate it. His brain is fried. Maybe Biden has sniffed too much hairspray over the years, or baby shampoo. Yeah, like, okay, they're just covering their ass for veiling it themselves. They veiled it. They know they veiled it. I think he's probably going to say this, but the way he makes this point is it not only exposes himself, it's weak.
But no one's ever accused these people of being smart. So as much as I'd like to accuse them of conspiracy or a plot, they really are stupid.
No, but you'll unveil a conspiracy to replace Biden when there's no evidence of it. So we're a bunch of people shouting right now because of a bad debate performance, and we all know that he's not fit to serve. We all know that he's the worst choice, and that the last 4 years have been awful. But we're not everybody. We're the based awake crowd, right? We're sophisticated. We have high political IQs. We're dealing with a world where most people don't. So I don't know who's talking to you right here. Maybe he's talking to those people. I don't know.
But I have to imagine, based on the reporting from CNN, the reality is They're just lying for access. And it is a disease. It is a contagion. It is an addiction. The people in the media who work for these news outlets who are terrified because they're losing money and their ratings are in the gutter are sitting
Back to money, not agenda. This is where we part ways.
there and their boss says, look, I know Joe Biden may have crapped his pants, but don't report it.
When?
Because then they're not going to give us the interviews we need. And those interviews generate ratings.
This is the bullshit. This is how hard Tim tries not to acknowledge a grander open conspiracy, right? A grander power structure, a grander establishment of corrupt power, right? A corrupt establishment of power. This is how far he'll go. He defaults back to money in this case. Oh, it's about their money and their ratings and blah, blah, blah. No, they want power. They got all the money. They got the minds under control. They got a system in place that's been there for decades, right? Mainstream media, right? A subversion, propaganda, generational abuse system, right? That's what they have. They need to remain relevant. Their ratings suck. They should have been off the air a long time ago, yet they're still here. Yet they're hosting the debate. He defaults back to, okay, so it's all about money, and then it'll be a coincidence. But when it comes to other things, he wants to be conspiracies. He'll go ahead and say they're conspiracy. Why do you think Michelle Obama's? Why don't you believe she's going to run? Well, she said she's not. Well, why don't you? You know, they're going to conspire. They're going to go to the convention and put Kamala Harris in. You know, I think I understand why he has the panels he does and the people he does are on, and he does the things the way he does. You know, it's because he's got a lot of holes in his arguments, and the wrong person's going to point him out. And I'm not against him. I'd like to see him have a conversation. I believe if he had these conversations with me, he'd come around. But that's, I may be being a little bit optimistic.
There you go. Oh boy, what else show me some more wise words, Jill Abramson. Here's what she writes. Obviously, the president's decline was a super hard story to report. Not for me. For me, it was fun, sad, funny, and obvious.
Yeah, and what good did it do us? What good did it do us? Instead of pointing out how criminal the party is through Joe Biden, right? Instead of doing that, we focused on this. And what good did it do? You had fun, though. He had fun. That's all that matters, is that Tim had fun. I go.
Even by those who wanted to get it, like the Wall Street Journal. Their story did not deliver, using mostly named GOP sources. I want to pause real quick and just highlight the fact that we can see Joe Biden on TV. It's just like,
we can.
I'm sitting here being like, Joe Biden just fell up the stairs. And they're like, no,
we can.
And I'm like,
no, nobody ever said he didn't fall up the stairs. This is another fallacy that's going around right now, where people are using it to that. They're saying that, you know, we're denying that he fell up the stairs, or they're saying that, you know, that we're calling that a cheap fake. But it's no, that was around long before the terminology. It's been around for years. It's one of the first things he did. We all pointed out it was a very memeable moment, and it made great memes. Okay. Nobody said no. So don't go back and try to go to the well and pull that one out. You get called out on that.
There's a video of him doing that's a cheap fake.
See? He just did it. He just did it. He's trying to pull that back out of the past. It had nothing to do with the cheap fix. It was not around at the time, and say that him falling up the steps didn't happen. And now everybody's going to repeat it. It's bullshit. Nobody ever said that the stairs thing was a cheap fake. They're talking about Poopgate, and they're talking about when he turned around with the parachuter, right? And even I got caught up in that one. Even I played that one at first, thinking it was funny, right? And then I went back and I found the full video and was mortified that I had made that mistake. Mortified. Like that, in my integrity and bringing you the factual truth of matters, and never falling for these grifts and that are out there to discredit us, is that important. I was mortified. I had to come right back out and take it back, right? Because of people like you. All right, we're all on the same side. We all want the same thing to happen here, at least in for the foreseeable future. But I gotta hold you accountable, man. You got the biggest voice, and you're sitting there with the biggest pile of shit right now.
You're not okay. You guys ever see that joke on Family Guy where Peter Griffin is in the elevator with one other person, and he farts, and he looks at her and goes, "It was you." Like,
yeah, that literally the gaslighting, right? It's literally gaslighting. That's what that joke is. It's literal gaslighting, right?
The joke is, who are you trying to convince? They know they didn't do it.
Look. Go ahead.
Like, what are you trying to say? Like, I watched Joe Biden fall up the stairs. Okay.
False premise, dude. False premise. This is a false premise. Nobody said the stairs was a cheap fake. I just named off the cheap fakes for you. Right? That, and the freeze up. Again, like I could go through the freeze up, like when Obama let him off the stage and be like, okay, there are 3 people on stage. Who's the third person? Who was the third person? Obama, Biden, and who? Yeah, you guys remember? Anybody remember? All right. Did the third person freeze up? Because they didn't walk off stage. Did they freeze up? I mean, there's a billion different reasons why Obama grabbed Biden and they walked off stage together. Wouldn't that did he what? He missed his cue? Is he a fucking actor now? No, he's handled. He's used to being handled. He's always handled. They say, okay, come on, president, let's go. You know, let's go. And it's time to go. Or Obama's like, okay, let's get out of here. Because, you know, he doesn't need to play the crowd as much as Biden. Biden likes to sit there and play the crowd and try to get validation from them. Try to get out there, and because he doesn't get it much often in his life. Only time he gets some little bit of validation when he's in the Democrat crowd and people are shouting for him. He goes home, his wife doesn't want to touch him. He goes around, he's being handled, told what to do, what, you know, constantly, right? And he's probably like, come on, Joe, let's get out of here. You know, I mean, come on, really? That's a freeze up. What constitutes a freeze up? How long do you get to stand still? What was the cue? Nobody can answer these questions, but they're sure it was a freeze up. So I'm saying, don't bet on shit like that. Right? You know, he sniffs kids. You know, he cops feels. I've shown the videos. That video is so powerful that it literally pulls people away from Biden if they actually see it with an open mind. Right? We know all the rest of it. I've been naming it all night long.
Okay, like, I don't know what you're trying to tell me by claiming I didn't see that video. It's a cheap fake. They're trying to convince people who
nobody said that. Again, he's just lying to his audience right now.
Don't pay attention. And you know what? It works on a lot of them because they are dumb as a box. No, I was going to say they're dumb as a box of rocks, but that insults rocks. And rocks can be.
They're not dumb. They're under mind control. They've been positioned in a place where they don't have enough information to make reasonable decisions, and they've had archetype crafting done on them to make the other side look repulsive, so they won't go near it. They won't listen to it. They literally get sick even looking and listening to anything coming from the other side. They're literally having physical reactions that they cannot control because they've been programmed into it in a traumatic way by information, right? And it had the repetition of that information. Do you not understand this? Do you not understand this? They're not dumb, right? There's plenty of dumb people on the outside of the establishment narrative, right? They see chemtrails in the sky, right? They think the Earth's flat. They do. We have plenty of people that are like that on this side. So it's not that. It's the crafting of narratives that keep people boxed in. It's Plato's cave, which is right at the bottom of the chart I use to demonstrate what the veils of perception are and how they work in the modern day. Right? Plato's cave. They're just the ones chained up against the wall. You have to free them from the cave. I set them free. I showed them what they saw was only an illusion. I set them free. Don't you dare.
Pretty based. Here we go. She says, I do think if enough reporters had pushed, the story was reportable. I worry that too many journalists didn't try to get the story because they did not want to be accused of helping elect Donald Trump. I get that. Because you are scumbags. You are all pieces of slime. Scumbag smear merchants. Let me tell you this.
All right, but you're doing the same thing, Tim, and that's why I'm putting out your hypocrisy. And I don't care how excited and animated you get or how much above me or anybody else you think that you may think that you are. Right? Because of your status and what you've earned through hard work, right? And being a smart business person. But you came out in the beginning of this thing. Last video caught you reversing course. First, Kamala Harris was going to take the nomination, then Michelle Obama, right? Now, in this one, you came out and you said there's more evidence for one thing than another. That's not true. But never mind. You guys didn't watch. You guys were here for it, right? I'm not going to recap it too much because I want us to get through this and get you over to Joe. But yeah, let's finish this up.
News gets reported that Donald Trump ordered a commando raid in Yemen, which may have resulted in the death of an American 8-year-old girl. And I will say that every opportunity or every time it is appropriate. I like Donald Trump. I think he's a net positive president. And that's surprising because I've not seen this before in my lifetime. And he's done a bunch.
I like Tim Pool. I think he's a net positive media outlet. He's doing the same thing to Trump that I'm doing to him. So I hope he realizes that. He should have me on for a conversation. Do you need to be challenged? I will challenge you, but in a good way, in a way where we both can find the truth at the end. Let's both find the truth together, right? Let's do a better job. You want to create culture so bad. You want to sell that idea. What kind of media culture are you creating when you put out stuff like this right here? Which I'm debunking, like, as we go through I'm pointing out, I'm analyzing and showing the holes in everything that you're saying, like, really easily. I get it. You got a lot going on. I get it. You know, I can't be afraid every day, make a lot of mistakes. I get all the excuses, you know? So take this as a hand up, not a push down, not a put down.
Of bad things that I will criticize. The missile strike in Syria was likely due to pressure from his administration, from bad people that he hired. He should not have done it. It was a waste of time and energy.
Yep, and it was knee jerk. It was knee jerk as well. We all know those gassing things that Obama was doing back in his day were setups for manufacturing consent for military action, right? They send their own groups out to launch gas somewhere, and then they say, "Oh my God, it's gas attack. We have the chemical warfare. We have to respond right now." We all saw that. We all saw that. When I was in Fort Polk, we had a platoon leader called Box of Rocks. Nice. I went to JRTC a few times at Fort Polk. It was miserable. Trainings are like a jungle there. Area. The area is like a jungle there.
I think it was smart that he pulled back from the airstrike on Iran. He said it would result in too much loss of life. I think that was the moment we began to see Donald Trump say, "I got to pull back on this. They're pushing us for war too much." I respect it. Donald Trump has done some bad things, but he's done slightly more good things. I'll take it. I don't think that Donald Trump's personality fits the decorum of the White House, but
Really, this is the whole thing. The president's decorum has to fit the times. I don't think not in your ideal mind, right? You want George Washington there. That's everything that we learned in history class. I get it. We've been taught the founding fathers the ideal representation of presidential astuteness, right? And if anybody has to come in a time where our country's being taken over from the inside and rattle some cages, well, then that just doesn't look good. Bullshit. You don't know what's going on if you think that. No, he's actually the right guy for this time. We need a cage rattler. We need a glass breaker. We need someone who goes into a corrupt situation and flushes it out, sends them scattering and running, breaks down their veils, the false veils that they put up, and destroys their bad policies that subvert the Constitution. Right, we need that right now. There's nobody looks better in the White House right now than him. No one has more decorum than him. Strength around the world to prevent wars from springing up and actions from being taken to stay off the globalist agenda, to reform and break our country and reform it in their image, right? With their little concoctions and their little means of control. You won't have it. You won't have an outlet when they take over. So I'm glad you're fighting, at least on the right side. I mean, I'm criticizing the words and how you're doing it because you are representing the new media in a lot of ways. But you need to do better with that reach, right? Not influence people to say them and do the wrong things. As we saw in the street interviews, what happens when people are informed and steered the wrong way by media? You get the two bald guys with the nipple rings.
At this point, I don't know that matters so much. He's a funny guy. I think he's done enough good. It's worth it. But I have no problem saying
you're right.
Donald Trump does bad thing. I have no problem saying
I don't have a bad thing. I don't have a hard time saying when you do a bad thing either. Like let's all be accountable to each other. Accountability partners. We'll be accountability partners. That's what we'll do.
I think Trump is, and I said this the other day when they reported that Donald Trump, for his mass deportation plan, he wants to get military insurrection act. He wants to start rounding up millions of people, setting up camps and things like this. Now, the media, of course, is framing this in the worst light imaginable. When I asked Trump himself, he says local police will do it. And so my position is very clearly, you better not do the other one. I know I don't trust the media. I know they're full of it, but I have heard some mutterings about Insurrection Act stuff too. Bad idea. Don't do it. Laura Loomer called out Donald Trump when he proposed green cards for college graduates, and no one supports Trump more than Laura Loomer. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to make sure this is very clear for all of you. when Laura Loomer has no problem saying, Trump, you are wrong about this, and the media will not point out what is plainly obvious in Joe Biden's age, I can tell you who is lying. Here's what I would say. The reason I use Laura Loomer as an example is because she is the most ardent, the most fervent Donald Trump supporter that exists. And even she has the capacity to say, I disagree with you, Donald Trump. I'm a huge supporter and a huge fan, but this policy is bad. Think about it's look.
We all should. There's no fear in that. We're not going to change sides because of it. We want action. We want to get through. We want to be heard, right? We want to be heard. I've criticized him too, especially since for not taking action to secure 2020 before it happened. He should have known at 2018 that what they were going to do. I did. How did I know? And he didn't. He had an inkling of it. He talked about it, but he didn't do anything to prevent it. He didn't have was that the people around him or was that him? I don't know. But it didn't happen. He didn't do anything to curtail the media. The media got worse. The social media got worse. Censorship on social media got worse. He kept relying on everybody else to do it. I don't know if that's the right thing to do in this day and age. Sometimes you got to take a little bit of initiative yourself. I don't know. But I tell you what, he let the mainstream media keep running wild, kept giving them protection, let them spread propaganda and subversion. And he let the platforms continue to censor that are public squares continue to censor information. He allowed that plays into the establishment's hand. He didn't secure the votes. He didn't secure the process that played in. So I have plenty of criticism for him, right? But that's hopefully constructive criticism, hopefully forewarning criticism to do it better. I'm still going to stand behind him because he's overall the right person for the job right now and heading us in the right direction and gets it. That's why I want Vivek there with him to help round that out. But yeah, we can do that. And I'm going to do that with new media.
They paint her as this lunatic cultist, blah, blah, blah. And she has no problem putting out a big tweet about how she disagrees with this policy. I'm like, I'm pretty sure if she was as you described, she would just blindly follow behind anything that he did. And she often does support almost everything he does. But I think it's an inversion. Laura Loomer supports Trump because she does agree with most of the things that he does. And I think it's clear when he does something that people don't like and she says it, she had no reason to say that. She had criticized other people before saying, now's not the time to attack Trump because we need to win. And then Trump launches a policy and she goes, okay, but this one is bad. I respect it tremendously. They didn't want to help Donald Trump win. Think about this world. Who can you trust more? I got to be honest. You can't trust CNN. You can't trust MSNBC. You can't trust ABC. You can trust Laura Loomer. You know why? Trust is not about ignoring bias. Trust is about, are they going to be honest in what they're saying? And here's the thing.
Practice what you preach, bro.
You know that when you go to Laura Loomer, and again, I'm singling her out because she is the most prominent or the most ardent Trump supporter. Not necessarily the most prominent, maybe Steve Bannon, maybe, but she's high profile and nobody supports Trump more than her. But even she is willing to criticize policies she doesn't like. You know that when you follow Laura Loomer, she is the most ardent Trump supporter. And you know the framing you're going to get is from a Trump supporter. I can respect it. I have no problem with that. And then you see her criticize him in the areas where...
So now the narrative is going to be replacement of Biden. You're going to see his next video is about...
It matters to her. But when you turn on the TV, when you turn on ABC News, you can't trust them. Why? Well, we know they're in the bag for Biden, but they're lying about it. They're claiming they're not, and they're covering up for him. Then everything that's plainly obvious to us that Joe Biden's brain is fried, they lie about. So you can't trust them. That's a remarkable world to live in. She's going to say this is no excuse for abandoning our first duty, which is to report the truth and hold power accountable. President Biden should be held accountable for his obvious lapses of mental acuity, even if there are periods of... even if there are periods of lucidity. Yeah, right. Just periods, just a couple here and there. It is simply astounding for the entire country, including its most seasoned reporters, to be as shocked as everyone was by the ugly and painful reality of Biden's debate performance. Did you guys see that dude, Jeff Tiedrick or whatever? He has that. I'm going to pull it up. I got to pull it. It's Defiant L's on Instagram and X. Let me grab this one. It'll be easier to find on Instagram because I got the grid view. But let me see if I can find this one. It is one of the best. He posts a lot. And it's basically that guy, Jeff Tiedrick, is a reply guy. He used to just reply to everything. Here we go. I hope you're going to love this one. He tweets, Joe Biden bicycles into the debate hall, dismounts, runs up a ramp to his podium, one-handedly chugs a bottle of water, slams the empty bottle down on the lectern, turns to Trump and says, sup, F face. I'm not going to swear, but Then after the debate, that is, he tweeted that just before the debate. After the debate, he tweets, what the F did I just watch? That's amazing. 7:50 p.m., 6/27/2024. Joe Biden bicycles into the debate hall, dismounts, runs up a ramp to his podium, one-handed. Here we go. They say, and she goes on to say, it's laughable and immoral for Democrats to blame the press now for overreacting to that reality. The reports of how bad Biden was are certainly not exaggerated, nor are the reports of Democrats in panic. Jill Abramson was the executive editor of the New York Times from
Democrats in panic, right? Because they've unfortunately that debate performance caused a moment of clarity for a lot of people who weren't necessarily completely bought in or weren't expecting it, right? There was kind of a little bit of shock value there for that. And so now if they're panicking about that, it's how to get people back in line. And they're going to get them back in line. We're going to watch too. We're going to report on it. We're going to watch about it. We're going to observe their strategy for doing this.
It takes a special kind of person. What did I put that tweet from Glenn Greenwald? There we go. Special kind of person to still run with these lies. The idea that even now, these journalists are like, I can't believe we missed this story. Oh, what a successful I got
Of course they're doing damage control. I'm not surprised at all. What? I didn't know. That's all, dude. You know how people are. You know how people are. We continue to go back to this. We got here. Oh yeah, this guy.
We got to grab your Twitter account here, Harry. 21-year-old Democrat Harry Sisson with 900.
21-year-old sellout, groomed individual Harry Sisson, who will probably end up on the Young Global Leaders list for the WEF at some point in his life. Who openly embraces corruption and is ready to side with evil. Harry Sisson.
1,000 on TikTok. I always love the people who include how many followers they have on their Twitter profile. Congratulations, sir. You have a lot of followers. That's great. And he's still going at it. I mean, I got no problem with him criticizing and insulting Trump supporters and Republicans. By all means, that's who you are. He loved this. VP Kamala Harris slammed Donald Trump and stressed the importance of the election. We have to take seriously the stakes of this election. Joe Biden is our nominee. We beat Trump once, so we're going to beat him again. Spot on as always. I'm fine with supporting Kamala in this way, sort of. But we can only handle so much, Harry.
Look at his reach. Irritating.
He says, I support President Biden 100%. He's had our backs, so let's have his. We must stand with President Biden and beat convicted felon Donald Trump.
You may have groomed young globalists like your backs, Harry, but not mine, not everybody else's.
Oh, hold your horses there, sir. Now with the presidential immunity ruling, that case may get overturned because they used evidence from his official duties, which is
See, look at him hammering this convicted felon Trump. See down here, right here at the bottom, next post, convicted felon Trump. He's been well trained. He's exercising all of the Linsky rules for radicals baked into his training, his grooming, and so he's like the perfect use case to kind of point out all this stuff because he's young and he's just going by the book.
Supreme Court says no. But here's what I got to point out. And I'm only picking on Harry because he's easy to pick on, but there are many other personalities, the likes of David Pakman and the Krasensteins and to varying degrees some others, like Destiny included. But in this one, Harry takes the cake. Harry.
Destiny's a gamer with blue hair and a weird sex life. Like, how does that guy get any credibility for saying it? For I don't know.
No one.
It's a weird
is
world,
standing
man.
behind
Someone
Joe
tell
Biden
me the
right now.
secret. Damn it!
The prediction markets have Kamala Harris as the front runner for the Democratic nomination.
Really? Here we go again.
That's absolutely. You know what I got to do? I got to pull up the Real Clear Politics average right now. Real Clear Politics betting odds. U.S. president. Let's see if Kamala has overtaken yet.
Yeah, because this right here tells us everything.
Almost. In aggregate, Joe Biden's at 14.5% in the betting market, and Harris is at 12.8%. Unpredicted, she's already taken over. This data seems to be, actually, she may have already taken, because this data is old, actually.
How much money can you make
when you look at the data we pulled up?
Can you make some serious dough betting on this thing? That's what I should be doing. I should be betting on the things.
Earlier in the show, in a previous segment, Kamala Harris is ahead of Joe Biden for the Democratic nomination and to win the presidency. Now, Trump is ahead of both of them. But so here's my point. We talk about who is covering up for Joe Biden, whether the media really could tell. Harry is the perfect example of the manipulative. Look, Harry, you are an evil person. Okay, but let me explain what that means.
Yes, we agree.
You are lying to people to serve an agenda instead of telling the people the truth so they can serve their own agendas.
He's absolutely right about that. I just hope he doesn't ever act that way.
Now, maybe in Harry's universe, he thinks he's not evil. He thinks that he has a right to lie, cheat, and steal to gain power because he's a better man. Sure. That's more.
It's called elitism.
Akin to fascism than democracy.
Elitism.
Whatever you want to call it. But this is the example. I get you support Joe Biden, but right now, No honest person believes Joe Biden is functioning and capable to be president. CNN has come out against them, and they're being accused.
They don't care.
Of a conspiracy. All these people are losing their collective minds, and it's laughably absurd. Laughably, I say. So I'll tell you this. We got a couple more segments coming up for you, but for now, for those watching live, we're going to read super chats and take your.
All right, dude. Enough of that. Again, I still support Tim. I still will look to his content, his news reporting for the most part. I've listened to him long enough to understand when he's like not. He's caught up in the mire or something. Again, I'm so optimistic. I don't even want to like speculate, but that maybe he cares less than we believe. I don't know. You got to do better. You got to do better. He'll never see this because he doesn't have time for someone like me, right? But if we ever do have a conversation, it'll be a very interesting one. I guarantee we'll both come out of it better for it. And I don't know, like I said, if I were to have the opportunity, I think at this point, I've wanted that opportunity for so long to have that conversation to kind of, get on the same page that, I probably would materialize in the 3D world. Just to get it done if that was a requirement. I don't know if I've never seen him interview an avatar. So just an idea, a good idea. One you should subscribe to. Make sure you're subscribed, ring the bell, because YouTube likes to steal my subs. All right, so we're going to head over to Joe Neerman now. That's good logic. Redirecting there. If I decide to, I may do a winning 2024 tomorrow. Maybe not. I got other things going on. I probably need to focus on more. So unless something comes up, it's always there. So I could do that. And please make sure you subscribe, ring the bell, set notifications to all, because they are going to keep you from knowing I'm going live if you don't. And it's free and it helps the channel out a lot. Look at Daisy Girl Williams sitting there. She is. Check her out. All right, guys. If not, I'll be back 9 p.m. Eastern. I guess a lot of people are taking tomorrow night for July 4th. Maybe I'll do July 4th something. Is everybody going to be around July 4th and want to hang out? If you are, let me know. And maybe I'll do something just for us, right? We can watch the fireworks together or something. I don't know. Because I'm going to be home. So if you guys are going to be home and want to hang out, let me know. Maybe I can drag Shelly up here, or maybe grab some other people and we'll just have a party or something, right? And if not, I'll be back Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern for Winning Saturday Night this week with Talking Trash Truths. That's our beginning of the month. We always do a show together, and we'll have the good news of the week, funny videos, and other things to entertain you and delight you. That's our casual, just hang out, have a good time night. So we keep it light as we possibly can those nights. Usually have some kind of topic to open up with too. But anyways, that's when I'll be back. Right now, we're going over to Joe Neerman. That's good logic to enjoy his stream. Everybody, thank you for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for being part of the solution. You guys rock. To the mods who do so much. Thank you to the supporters of the channel. Thank you for everybody who subscribes on all the platforms. Thank you. I'll see you next time. And until then, everyone, keep on winning.